Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with
ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in that wonderful technicolor rainbow in between. Welcome to tonight's coverage of the Titan Esports Vanquisher League playoffs. I'm What's Agreeing, and joining me tonight, my usual other half for this split. It's GG Golden Gad. How you doing tonight?
Doing great. Obviously, I'm actually excited for League of Legends. It's kind of a good day because honestly,
took
that
a week
blog post
off.
or whatever yesterday was kind of peak. It
It
kind of got
was,
my
yeah.
interest back a little bit. You know, I've been playing a lot less recently, so I'm happy that it's changing as I go into the kind of
the
the blurry
void,
zone, the
the void
typical.
of no sight. I will say I've been spamming the absolute hell out of Mayhem. I'm still having a lot of fun with that mode. Me and my friends are playing it all the time. But seeing that blog post, I'm starting to get back into like actual regular League of Legends. I've been thinking about actually getting back into ranked League of Legends. I feel like I haven't barely touched ranked this year,
Yeah,
which
me
is
too.
so odd for me, as I've always been a try hard, like I gotta get to Diamond Plus or I'm really bad at the game. I kind of just relaxed this year, which, it was really nice. But these players aren't relaxing, the 10 that you see below us there, because they're in the playoffs. We're in the semi-final, or the quarterfinals now. Sorry, misspoke. It was mislabeled on our schedule, and I'm going to blame it on that. We are
Wow.
in the quarterfinals. We have Legacy 9 versus the Conduit Copers, and it is going to be a heck of a match, as Conduit is coming off of a screamer of a match versus Mint, who I think was one of the teams that we kind of expected to be up here in top 8, top 4, got locked out by Conduit, which is a team, like an organization at the very least, that we always kind of expect to have high results. But coming into this week, it's going to be pretty exciting, at the very least, to see which one of these teams will move on to semis.
Yeah, and then of course you got Legacy Esports 9, who's cold. I mean, they're very cold. They haven't
Yeah.
played now for basically 2.5 weeks, so they got quite a bit of warming up to do as the series progresses. Luckily for them, it is a best of 5 for this one, so they will have ample number of games to get acclimatized to the current bit of winter that we're going through. But I mean, I'd have to be curious about their form. I mean, they are coming in as the third seed in all of playoffs, which does inspire some confidence as far
Mm-hmm.
as, um, okay, they performed very well. They got their bye in that first week of playoffs, and now is it going to pay off, or will it be kind of the death nail, as we've seen a lot of times in higher levels of play, where the team that gets cold is actually the one that ends up losing, compared to the
Yeah.
one fighting through that loser's bracket or an extra round that they have to go through. So we'll see if it actually pays off here as we get an immediate L9 Master Yi-Ban.
The Master Yi-Ban putting some respect on Source Walker, making sure that they do not get their hands on that particular champion. Conduit on the other side is going to ban away Mel, who, despite all of the nerfs that have been targeting her for the past, like, I think every single patch pretty much since she's been released, she has another slate of nerfs coming up on 25-24. Still just so problematic, just because that Reflect is so dang toxic.
Yeah. Mel's always pretty good. Here we got Hui as well, locked up as a ban. These longer range, kind of safer artillery mages, which we saw a lot of success with Hui in the last couple weeks. So it makes a lot of sense to see it banned out here. MF as well getting taken off the table. Just kind of a safe, strong AD carry that can bully lane. It seems like they're going to continue targeting those with the Tristana as well. So having a little bit more mobility there. Now, what is the choice for the first lock-in? Could be something like a Xin Zhao, typical jungler, but we're gonna get the Wukong. They get the message. I always say just lock Wukong. It's game one, just send it. You're totally fine. Okay, yes, they could pick something like a Lilia, but previously we saw exactly that matchup play out and it was still fine for the Wukong. But instead we're gonna get a different, potentially in the top lane, but also could be in the jungle, a hard farming, could bully jungler of the Udyr.
Yeah, Udyr is a champion that we haven't seen very often in the jungle recently. I wouldn't say very often in general, a lot, since his heyday when he was the tank top laner that the pro players picked, when he was just sustaining lanes beyond belief. But now he's going to be a good frontline source here, either in the top or in jungle, whichever one we see, for this Jinx that they've drafted. And I see an early Jinx. I do like the response of Smolder, but now it's on Conduit. Make this Jinx playable. Give her an enchanter, give her a tank, let her play the game in one form or another. I would love to just see a Lulu slam here. Keep that Udyr flexible.
Yeah, we got the Scion locked up in the top lane as well. So unless they're kind of giving you the option, it's either you pick the Lulu here or you pick the Trundle to counter the Scion. It's kind of a cool position to put them in, but instead they're going to go with another counter pick for that Scion, which is the Cho'Gath. Something we didn't see too much, but that does leave the option available to ban out a lot of those protective supports here for the Jinx. Smolder doesn't need as much support, honestly. He's kind of just does his own thing. He's just not going to be that useful early on. So in lane, he should be totally fine. You still do want to usually pair it with something ranged. But they don't currently have any primary engage, so it's kind of in a kind of weirder spot where you may want to still draft something like a Nautilus here, but we're seeing a lot of mid lane bans here. A lot of the burst mages especially getting taken off the table. Got to keep those 80 carries safe in this one.
Yeah, the pools are already shrinking super hard in mid lane. All of these mid laners gone. We're dipping down to the next level. Maybe we see a Cassiopeia, maybe an Akali, since the Syndra and the Orianna are taken out. I think Akali's slightly less likely. Rise is also potentially on the table. Conduit is going to grab up that Lulu, which I think is the correct call here. They have front line, they have back line. They're really looking for some form of engage here, and I'm wondering how they're actually going to find it in the mid lane.
Yeah, I don't know. They are going to lock up the Rel in the bot lane. That makes a lot of sense now that you see that the Lulu is locked in. One of those picks that can't really reliably answer Rel well. So it makes a lot of sense to get locked up here. And now for the mid lane pick, it's going to be the Rise, which makes me think Cassio is a pretty likely option here, considering that was a traditional counter pick for that particular champion. But
yeah, I'm trying to even think of who else is left with all of these mid lane targeted bans. I feel like these are the ones that we've just been seeing consistently. Azir maybe was an option, but Conduit will opt for that Cassiopeia, so we will get the classical match of Cassiopeia versus Rise. I'm expecting that it is going to be Cho'Gath versus the Scion. The Cho'Gath jungle buffs, I think, God, are they 25-23 or 25-24? I think they're 24 for the Vorpal Spikes jungle buff. So maybe they'll flex it in practice for, next week's matches. Maybe they'll pull out the Cho'Gath jungle, but I expect that we'll see the Udyr jungle and Cho'Gath on top lane this time around. Like you said, it's a good matchup versus the Scion specifically.
I do believe that it might be next patch, not this patch. So it's on PBE right now.
There's a good chance that it's next patch.
Yeah, so
I'll double check that once we get into game itself. But I'm looking at this comp for Conduit. I think the only thing I'm worried about them is engage. But at the same time, you look at L9, they are pretty much entirely engaged. Outside of their Smolder, you have Scion, Rel, and Wukong, all of whom are primary or at least secondary engage. Rise will be able to follow up with them, and Smolder just has a bunch of beefcakes in front of him to protect him. But Conduit, I think they're fine to just kind of play back. Let L9 engage into them and try and ward it off. Cassio's great while kiting, Jinx is great while kiting, and Udyr and Cho'Gath can really facilitate that playstyle.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to get pretty difficult for them to access the important carries with this, especially the Cho'Gath, I think, really denies a lot of the big pressure you could put up for the side of, L9. So I'd be kind of curious to see whether Conduit can play that line well and really figure out how to make sure Cassio and Jinx have the space to be able to pump out the damage, because theoretically they should have an easy time if they're able to escape the Rel plus Wukong follow-up, which, hey, Silence is extremely effective against both of those champions, so that's why I think it might be one of the key champions here. They don't have the best disengage if they're already
really
on your carries.
Cassiopeia.
So it's going to be pretty much, can you hold the zone that you establish, which also means they need to get vision early. But Lulu has always been a champion that's one of her struggles. She's not the best solo deep warding early on, since she doesn't have any mobility besides just speeding herself up. So I could see it being difficult for them to get to places first, especially with stuff like Realm Warp, to be able to really bypass all that kind of shenanigans potentially. So I don't know, we'll have to see. I think team fight wise you should be pretty good if you are Conduit, but I could see some difficulties if it does come down to a skirmish over an objective, for instance. But their side laning should also be slightly better, since you can't really send Smolder on its own in particular. So, there are definitely some ups and downs for both sides. But if I had to put a marker on who I think will win, I'm going to put it with Conduit. They have the winning top lane, which I think is pretty important with, I think, what these compositions want to do. And then on top of that, Jinx and Cassio should have a lot more time just to free hit on the opponent carries.
Yeah, that's really going to be the tell-all of this game. Do Jinx and Cassio have free time to hit these frontliners? Cassio to get, what I assume is probably Conqueror stacked up, or at the very least get poison onto the right targets, get some damage in. And is Jinx going to be able to scale up to that 3-item spike? Is that going to be where she's able to finally pop off? You know me, I'm a Jinx merchant. Anytime I see Jinx, I am always excited to see her on the Rift. I loved her in Arcane. I love her on the Rift. I like playing with her as a support as well, just being able to enable her and say, hey, you go have fun. I'm going to try and make sure you don't die. So I'm always here to defend Jinx compositions, and I think Conduit has a decent one here. Again, the only thing I'm worried about is engage, but as long as you're to the objective first and you're forcing L9 to engage into you, it should be fine. But then the worry becomes, what happens when you don't get to an objective first? Can you actually retake? Do you have any potential opportunities to get in, like to a drag into an Otacon pit? With any chance of L9 not having a really great flank angle or engage angle on you? Because at that point, life gets very, very difficult.
Yeah. I will say, at least as far as isolated matchups, like Udyr should stomp Wukong. Theoretically, like there should be no competition there. So early game should be mostly just up to what Conduit can find, and just one or two lanes that get really ahead before Smolder can really hit that full stack mark can be the difference maker to just allow you to snowball very effectively towards the late game. So with, I'd say 3 winning lanes with the Cassio, Udyr, and Cho'Gath, that top side should have a very easy time in the early game. So, you know, as much as I like my scaling compositions, I'm a little scared whether or not L9 is going to be able to survive that kind of onslaught.
Yeah, I do think both of these compositions are kind of just opting into scaling. I think there's a good chance that we don't see a first blood for maybe 10 minutes unless somebody really makes a mistake. So,
it's going to be swap lane for sure. It's going to be these tanks smacking each other.
Always top lane. It's always top lane every single time, and it's always when they're on the tanks. Cho'Gath is somehow going to get solo killed by Sion. I'm predicting it now. That's where first blood is. 6.5 minutes into the game, Cho'Gath solo killed by Sion after missing an ultimate range.
All right, we'll keep track of that. All right, 6.5. Cho'Gath dies. Probably runs out of mana. Doesn't have enough for W.
That's always the thing. You run out of mana, and then you're like, oh, I'm stuck auto-attacking. Life gets rough for Cho'Gath at that point, which I think is why people wanted to start playing him in the jungle anyway, because you can avoid that early game. I did mention Otacon earlier. If you haven't seen the dev update post that came out, or read the blog post about the upcoming patches and seen what's happening next, yeah, Otacon's dead, by the way. That guy he's gone. Next season, once the Demacian changes start rolling through, no more Otacon. Baron's back to 20 minutes spawn. I think Grubs and Herald are still on 1 spawn each, as far as I'm aware. So we're going to get a lot less objectives in the game overall, but at the very least for now, we come down onto the Winter Rift for Game 1 of L9 versus Conduit Cobras.
I'm so happy to see this Winter Rift back. Oh, man. It brings back good memories.
It's as beautiful as the day I lost it. Oh, it's so gorgeous.
I will say, one champ that I'm not... I need officials to confirm or deny. Is Zaheen? Or Zahen, whatever.
Zahen
he is disabled. Okay.
For the rest of this split, we will not be seeing him at all for the playoffs. And you know what?
That's good.
Thank goodness for that. That champion is still a little overtuned.
Just a little. Figure out
what they're doing with that one.
I mean, they thought he'd be a support, so let's just say they don't really got their identity in check.
Hey, where did they say that?
No, they were like, oh, we initially created this champion as a support, and then they changed it like halfway through the design or something.
All right. I can see there being an initial design for like a Yunara enabling support to try and get that lore duo in the bottom lane that Riot loves so much, but in his current form, no chance.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That guy I've played him in Mayhem a couple of times. That guy is a monster.
That's Aatrox 1.0, the GOAT.
They brought the revive back. As soon as I saw the reveal of his abilities and I saw that revive passive, it was the one thing that was in my mind. Just, why are we trying revives again? Stop trying to make revives happen.
It's just funny, like all the abilities are kind of look similar to old Aatrox too. They really didn't try too hard to make it very unique, but
they wanted him to be like the Darkin. He's called back to the older Darkin, and you know what? He is.
That is indeed a Darkin. That is for sure. It has 2 A's as intended, unlike Varus.
Unlike someone who didn't get the memo. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's even voice lines for that, so makes a lot of sense. We are seeing both junglers clearing towards that bot side.
Yeah, there is a game of League of Legends going on. We probably should talk about it.
I mean, nothing too interesting. We talked about this is going to be a very long grind.
Yeah, we're gonna give you a
Oh, here
slow
we go.
game. But as
Top
we see
lane.
in the top laners, they're the ones who are lowest HP because of course they are. They have those grass stacks they need to get from each other. But yeah, both these junglers clearing towards the bottom side, I think is kind of expected. If you want one of these, if one of these teams wants to get ahead as quickly as possible through bottom lane is the way they're gonna do it, trying to accelerate their hyper carry as best as possible. The top laners are gonna scrap, they're gonna brawl, they're gonna hit each other, but the real prize pool is in this bottom lane.
Yeah. So far, Potato has been doing a really good job in the mid lane to actually kind of stave off a lot of the pressure from the Cassio. I think this is pretty solid play, weaving in a lot of autos. I've been pretty impressed. But now with both junglers finishing their clear just about, expect some action, at least at this first Scuttle Crab here. And with the side of Taylor Swift and Justin having a little bit of prio here, it should be pretty easy for the Udyr to just walk up and take it.
Jost has run out of mana, so they're going to be sent back to base eventually. They did start with the Darksteel, so maybe anticipating the possibility of taking some trades, trying to take advantage of that passive, but Jost up here, or Rainy up here on the top side, and Jost is on the other side, having plenty of fun just on the side saying, yeah, you have no mana regen. I can kind of just beat on you for as long as I want.
Yeah. I mean, technically the passive regens mana when you kill stuff, so eventually
You get,
we'll get enough.
What, like 10 mana back per kill?
Something like that.
It's not a lot.
I mean, as long as you don't get hit by a E into a Q without a silence up, I think Joss theoretically should be fine. A Wukong canceling a Q there onto
Yeah.
Cone is a little interesting. There's a decent amount of fighting.
Yeah, Sourcewalker is trying to walk them down. Has Midnight in the area thanks to that teleport. Potato's taking plenty of damage, flashes out. But the flashing from Midnight is first blood. But Rainy, in the meantime, topside is going to take a kill as well. Rig is not going to be able to get the kill back. It's a 2-0 in the jungle for Cope. But in the meantime, they lose their top laner.
So it did end up being the top lane, but at the same time, the forces of the mid-jungle duo of Conduit does actually come up on top as well, which makes a lot of sense here, as we are going to get an instant replay to see what happened in that mid lane skirmish here. This is what I mean. The force of an Udyr plus a Cassio early on is just deadly. Oh my god. There's just nothing, especially since Rig ended up using that Q a little bit early, didn't get that extra chip damage on the Udyr much earlier on in that fight, and then still ended up burning Flash. It is a bit of a tragedy here for the mid-jungle duo.
Yeah, losing the Flash, I think, is the big deal for this Wukong. Wukong is really reliant on his gap closers to actually be effective in ganks. He doesn't have a lot of crowd control outside of that level 6, so you really do need to be able to get close to your target and just start weaving in the autos, getting some damage down as much as you can. But before that, life is pretty rough for you, as Jost again on the back foot here, as Rainy is just continuing to put the pressure down. Gets another decimating smash, and goodness gracious,
Jost. Be careful.
Yeah, this is a... I feel like this happens a lot when we counterpick top lane. The counterpick always tends to struggle a little bit.
I think they just, like, people just don't respect the Scion damage, which, you know, there's a reason this champion was and is picked as much as he is. Really just a force not to be reckoned with for the most part here. So, yeah, I don't know. It's pretty interesting. Dragon is up. Both junglers kind of want to find something on the map so that they can actually go for it, but still just lurking around that mid lane here for Sourcewalker. No camps to take just yet. Now creeping his way back towards that top side.
Yeah, despite the jungle skirmish, that 2v2 that happened there, still plenty of room for both of these teams to grow. We haven't seen a lot of action in the bottom lane. I'm surprised that both of these AD carries ended up starting with the Doran's Blade. I thought for sure just one of them was going to greed for a cull and just say, hey, we're farming this lane out no matter what. I want my extra money, but I think the Doran's Blade, if you think the junglers are coming down, is a little bit safer.
Yeah, just being able to keep that extra sustain, that extra HP, always very, very valuable. I'm surprised not to see an early back for a Cole, for instance, because if you buy a Cole at this point, it's just kind of useless. It won't be completed for at least 15 minutes, probably, just based off how fights.
15, yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see if Dead actually opts to grab one of those or not, but pretty interesting here.
Yeah, I have to imagine at this point they're just going to start going towards their first items. It looks like potentially an Essence Reaver or maybe a Shojin first item for Dead Botting. I'm not 100% sure what Smolder's are first building nowadays, because they went through the AP phase when he first came out, and then they did, oh, we're going to do like Shojin plus Trinity Force Caster, and then there was the crit build that was flavor for a little while. I'm not sure what people are doing nowadays.
I feel like most of the time I just see Essence Reaver nowadays. Just the extra mana. Well, never having to worry about mana ever is a pretty nice thing. Just quality of life wise. And Smolder's not exactly the easiest to be able to pump out all your spells without that mana regen. So I expect that to be the choice here. As you know, we got an even game. Besides those skirmishes, I mean, even then the gold is still quite even here. Just the difference of about a kill and a half for the side of Conduit. So I think we're slowly moseying our way on to first dragon here for the Udyr. So
Yep. Udyr's one of those champions who can take dragon pretty darn well, especially with that faded ashes in inventory. It's not the monster jungle clearing item it used to be back when it first got added.
disgusting.
Oh, yeah, the disgusting jungle clears you got out of that item before. 900 gold for a free lane, but it's looking like L9 might actually potentially contest this. Dragon down to 2,000 now. Taylor Swift's in the area. A nice ground from Midnight is just not going to allow him anywhere near. Polymorph in as well. They're just going straight onto Ring of Mortis, and he is down. Sourcewalker is up with the Lulu ultimate, but he's going to be taken down immediately. But Taylor Swift is already excited, and Living Phoenix should be the next to drop with a zap to the back. Taylor Swift wants to keep the fight going, has the buffs on. Excited, lethal tempo stack, black forward with the super mega death rock and a double kill, and now even more excited, the shields are so huge. A triple kill for Taylor Swift.
Just so far forward. So what an over index. The Wukong, okay, fair. Hey, you got everything burnt on you. That's fine, but I think after the initial fight doesn't go your way, you just have to get out no matter what. But a good awareness there from Taylor Swift of just flash forward, get the kill onto the rise as well. I will say I would have liked to see Deadbotting just go for a little bit more stacks, be a little bit more aggressive, because you need to at least get something out of that fight, and it didn't feel like Smolder really got too much out of it, despite actually joining instead of just catching up those waves on the bottom side. Even if you have to die for potentially 10 stacks, I think it's pretty worth it if you can maybe squeeze a kill, which they maybe could have, in all honesty, with no additional survivability resources for the Lulu at the tail end of that. Rigor Mortis, though, might be able to just grab up this dragon on the respawn, since Udyr did go towards that top side to grab up these grubs, so looking out just a little bit.
Yeah, there is the fact that they did lose their jungler means that they had to retreat. Udyr had to back off, go over towards the grubs instead, which allowed Rigor Mortis to then come in and clear out the dragon instead. The individual Ocean Dragon I don't think is going to provide the most value in this game. I think it's one of the lesser impactful individual dragons. It's not like an infernal one that's coming up next that I think the teams will be a little more excited to fight over. But we're starting to see first item completions come through. The Robo is starting to stack up for Midnight on that Cassio. Yuntal already completed for Taylor Swift, and this Jinx is accelerated.
Just a little bit, honestly. Man, I'm thinking about at least the dragon will stall them out. They do need some time to get this Smolder fully online. And I expect all the future Drakes to go the way of Conduit unless something crazy happens in the next 4 minutes. So, you know, I think for the most part, that's at least a good takeaway to have just off the tail end of that fight. But it's not going to get much easier for quite a while. They need to kind of look for something with this Rel, but because, you know, it's double range bot lane into the Smolder, can't really fully safe farm 1v2 as he could in some other lanes, potentially. So it's getting kind of difficult for them to find some other map presence across the world.
Yeah. Joss is starting to get better trades versus Rainy up here, but with that Hollow Radiance complete, the wave clear is just going to be all Scion all day. Joss is going to have to kind of struggle to keep up, looking for what looks like most likely the Heart Seal first. A little bit behind on that first item completion just due to that solo kill. Managing to stay even in CS at the very least means that this Cho'Gath will stay relevant, and I think even behind, Cho'Gath manages to stay relevant no matter what. He's just as he's a good meatball. He's got big silence, big AoE, and there's also the execute either on champions or on objectives. It ends up always being so huge in team fights.
Yeah, we're just seeing normal trading here, but it's going the way of Rainy right now. Got to be a little bit careful with that ultimate there. Just to make sure you don't get actually caught off guard with some extra CC you aren't anticipating. That is often how Scion finds some of those solo kills. We have Udyr fresh off of an invade here on the blue buff to be able to grab it away from the Wukong, as we're just gonna have to go towards this top lane to maybe find something, but it is just so low action besides those
Phoenix
couple
down here
fights
on
they
the
had
bottom
earlier.
side, looking for a potential play, but with the fact that Justin is down here as well, a lot more difficult to actually make that play happen. It is going to be the Essence Reaver first from Dead Botting, so most likely the full crit Smolder with the Infinity Edge is what we're going to see. I'd be surprised if we ended up seeing a Shojin. I'm hoping to just see IE Rapid Fire or even Rapid Fire IE if you feel like you need to be safer. We'll have to see what they actually end up going. I think Smolder builds are generally pretty versatile. You can kind of just mix and match whatever build path you really want as long as you aren't doing AP anymore, because they took out all his scalings, right? Does not want a
No
versatile
fun.
champion. No fun allowed.
No fun allowed. Classic. Well, I will say, W spam with Leandres was a little
Was,
toxic.
yeah, a little bit.
So they're getting away from that. And yeah, we're just going to have more of a chill game here. Wukong at least finishing that Trinity Force, so it is viable to at least go for a fight at this point. The Leandres is completed for the Udyr on the other side. I will say Trinity Force a bit stronger of a spike than the Leandres, but you know, when the Udyr starts stacking some resistances behind that, it does become quite a bit of a force here. So I
Yeah.
think they have a slight window to fight, especially since Rise is just about to take over on the completion of the Seraphs. I think maybe they can look for something in the mid lane.
Yeah, I'm normally not much of a fan of the Leandries on Udyr. I think, especially most often, people are building it when their teams have enough damage and they don't really need the extra source. But in a game like this, when you've got the tanky top laner, you have the slower, more consistent damage of the Cassiopeia, and you have a Jinx who you really need to get at least one kill for to start getting excited. A little bit of extra damage doesn't hurt. So I think in this game, at the very least, it's pretty appropriate. Rigor Mortis is down here on the bottom side. Again, with that completed Trinity Force, has those free boots in inventory, is just looking for any chance to get in here. His Dead Body just takes a chunk out of their health bar. Engage in from Living Phoenix. There's the flash. Crash down Magnet Store. Taylor Swift flashes out. The Wild Growth is there, but it's not enough. Rigor Mortis picks up one, picks up two. The Cyclone tears through the bottom lane.
Nice engage there from Living Phoenix to start it off. Finds the kind of center line to grab them both in that Magnet Storm. So able to find it with the follow-up engage from Rigor Mortis. Now Potato has to be a little bit careful. Is on that weak side. Walks a bit too far forward. Has to burn Flash.
Yeah, Flash used with that phase rush as well. Potato will manage to get out. No summoners burned from the Cope mid jungle duo, so they are still performing excellently in this game. Losing your AD carry and losing their summoners is a little worrying, though. I'd like to see Sourcewalker and Midnight maybe play a little bit more towards this bottom side. Get this Jinx really off the ground.
Yeah, I think they assumed, oh, this is now an okay lane. We can just let the Jinx to her own thing. But, you know, you never be too careful, especially against some engaged supports like the Rel. That could just make it happen with the Flash, as Living Phoenix did. Now they're going to be changing their attention towards this Drake. They don't want to give over any more potential stacking to delay the game even further than prior. So they are now going to be just taking this away for stacked on it. And not much to be seen on the other side of the map as far as pressure, so now being able to get some deep vision at the very least, or maybe potentially looking for, nah, just some deep vision. Take it back. I was thinking maybe potentially could look towards top lane, especially since Jost
For a little
is
Rebel
quite
War.
low. Yeah, but decides to call it off instead, just going for that Rift Herald immediately. And
Yeah, bottom lane turret
bot
is
lane's dead.
dead here. Maybe not actually. Nice wave clear from Deadbody. The Wild Growth forced to be used to make sure that Taylor Swift doesn't die to that. Nice use
Deadbody
of
has to be
that
careful,
AoE
though.
Smolder
Sourcewalker
Q. Yeah, Sourcewalker's
yeah.
in the area, and Living Phoenix is still a while away on their way down, and they're gonna meet an Udyr before they do. Herald goes down to the top side, so Sourcewalker knows that Deadbody is pretty much alone in this spot. Living Phoenix shows up, but Sourcewalker already did his job. Bottom lane turret will fall, and that's gonna be Feats going over to Conduit Copers.
Yeah. Feats soon to be no more as well, so, you know, enjoy
Yeah,
them while
right.
they last.
Ooh,
Well,
Realm
more
Warp.
on to Midnight.
Looking on to
Oh,
Midnight,
too far
Potato
out.
doesn't get the angle just right. Midnight already heading down towards Justin. That Lulu protection, not allowing Rigor Mortis and Potato to engage any further. I like the idea, but not super successful. And I think it's a big deal that the first Realm Warp we saw is not finding a lot of success. It's one of those global ultimates like the Nocturne ultimate that you really have to find good success with on that initial cast to really start accelerating the game.
Still really surprised they didn't just dive Jost on that wave, but,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there was a mid lane wave coming in, and if you don't get the kill, I mean, that's just a sacrifice mid wave for it.
And
So
Cho'Gath is also, he's a tank.
it is a little scary, yeah, especially with the silence on a champion like Rise or Scion. So makes some decent sense here as yeah, we're seeing now lane assignments shift over. The Jinx, Lulu now free from their shackles in the bot lane after taking down that turret. So Cassio and Ryze will shift down there to meet each other on both sides. And let's see. I'm curious what the stat count is on the Smolder.
Yeah, sitting at around 17 minutes, we should be anticipating Smolder to be. Well, he's past the 125 mark. We'll see that stacks at some point as Rainy is forced to lose the flash on the top side, knows that the Leander's Udyr will burn them down eventually. So not wanting to give anything up in that regard. Otacon will be up in just about 2 minutes with the Dragon up in about 2.5. We've got the Chemtech Dragons on the Rift this time around. And I think I say it every time that Chemtech Dragon comes up. It's super underrated individually and as a soul.
I mean, we had 3 Chemtech souls last BO5, which was
And they were all
a little absurd.
incredibly impactful. Every single
very
game, the
powerful.
tenacity mattered.
Yeah. So, maybe we'll see another. If I see more than one Chemtech soul today, I'm convinced it's bugged and there's a higher percentage of Chemtech souls. I know
It's
our
not
sample size
bugged.
wouldn't be that.
Riot
high,
just loves me specifically and wants to let me talk about how good Chemtech Soul actually is.
This is like when Cloud Soul first came out and everyone's like, "Oh,
Or
it's
Atlas,
so
yeah.
bad," and then it's actually like amazing.
Yeah, it ends up being objectively like the highest win percentage soul, and it's really impactful because of the non-intangibles of just getting to move around the map consistently.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see the 13% increased damage you do it. You don't really see the 13% decreased damage you take. But when you look back on the replay and you're like, oh, wow, yeah, that Wukong combo would have one-shot me if I wasn't taking half as much damage throughout the course of the fight. That's crazy.
I mean, so as a used to play Poppy, I mean, I still kind of do sometimes. Poppy has basically the same thing as Chemtech Soul, just as a passive. So
Yeah, on her W.
when they stack, it is absolutely disgusting.
Vile.
But that just shows like kind of the extra durability that just even a bit of resistances towards the later portions of your life kind of matter. So
Yeah, and this one isn't even resistances. It's just straight up percentage damage reduction, which is a crazy good stat.
yeah. Those multiplicative ones at the very end are always the most important, impactful
Yeah.
stats in any game, pretty much.
And I
Not
mean, there's
just
also
League.
the tenacity because you're worried about the Scion knockup and stun, the Rise root, the Rel stun, Cassio slows, Udyr slows, Cho'Gath knockup, silence, the Jinx traps, the Lulu polymorph. Tenacity is a really good stat, guys. There's a reason why you can't get it very easily.
Yeah, they made it pretty difficult, and whatever items it is on have been nerfed to the ground because they have it.
Because
For
if
the
they're
most
too
part.
good, everybody just has free tenacity, and then the Leona players all get really upset.
Oh, I mean, how many Leona players we got still left? I don't know. I feel like
They
slowly but
are
surely they keep releasing new supports that just do Leona, but more.
Leona players at this point, I think, really are Riot's like toughest soldiers because they've just fought through so many nerfs. And she's still pro play viable, so she's still kind of in pro jail of we can't like buff her because then the pro players just will pick her every game. We do have a trade going on here. Dragon is being taken down by Sourcewalker, but Otacon on the top side, started up by L9. It is going to be spotted out, but we were talking about this in the break. Otacon's closer to a Baron than it is to a Dragon, so Sourcewalker will be able to finish this one off. But not only that, Joss is in for the defense. Rigor Mortis is forced to get the heck out of dodge. Joss now the one in trouble, starting to get that shred. He will get picked up by dead botting. Scion into the backline with that unstoppable onslaught. Doesn't get too much work done with it. Rooted up on the front line is Midnight, but gets the stun down on the dead botting. The damage is in is huge. The poison ticks. Cassio sinks her fangs in, and she is down. Rigor Mortis now into the backline, but Taylor Swift is kiting and exciting and free firing away. Rainy is just a ball of meat in front of them, and there's nothing that they can do. Potato now getting artillery shotted down. Nice sidestep on the zap, but Taylor Swift won't let that one go for free. Is gonna end up dying under turret red buff. Not enough to finish Potato Monster, but enough to force the recall, which should get the rest of
dangerous.
the Otacon. Sourcewalker and Midnight should have enough damage to finish this. They've got plenty of percentage health damage between the two of them. The Living Phoenix is in the area. Rigor Mortis is still down for 8. Yeah, this Otacon is gone.
Yeah, it is gone, but it was a little bit scary there, especially when Joss kind of went a little bit too far forward to maybe get the feast onto the Wukong, unable to do so, but the Jinx able to just find the zone to free fire there with the Scion ult going wide, not burning the flash immediately means it's much harder to actually get any CC to stick onto her, so unfortunately Rig goes down, and now we see a pretty good lead here for Conduit, at least as far as invisible stats are concerned, with those 2 Drakes and of course the Otacon experience as well.
Experience in the adaptive force that we will
Yep.
all be missing as soon as it's gone. No more doing pedal checks and picking out those roses across the map. I'm a little surprised that those are disappearing as well with Otacon. I know it makes sense lore-wise, but I thought those were like cool little fun mini objective that, you know, you could keep on Summoner's Rift for at least a decent amount of time.
Or turn it into just, I mean, into another Drake passive thing.
Noxian Dragon! Oh my
Nox
god!
Noxus Dragon. Yeah, War
Riot,
Dragon.
you can take that idea from me for free. That one's on the house.
All right, we got some fighting here with the tanks. Classic. I just want while they're beat sticking a bit. There is a Luden's Echo in the Rise's inventory right now, and I'm
Ooh. Yeah, there
confused.
is. Not Rod of Ages, not Frozen Heart. It's the Luden's Echo. I am very surprised to see that as a second item for the Rise here. Interesting.
I guess looking for more burst, but it just is that worth it? I feel like you
But
could have just
mana
went like a Storm
is
Surge or
burst.
something if you wanted to really go burst, but I don't know.
But for
Maybe
Rise,
I'm
mana
crazy.
is burst. If you build a Rod of Ages, you do more damage. Potato now in trouble in the side lane. I say he's in trouble, but Midnight is the one who's on the run. Now with the Realm Warp as well, Midnight is going to be forced to get cut off, and Rigor Mortis is right there with the Cyclone. Petrifying Gaze stuns up one. The Redemption down, but it's just not enough.
The Luden's Echo Rise!
The Luden's Echo
Okay.
Rise picks up the shutdown. Huge gold spike.
I just had to. I know it's obviously team diff, but you know, that is the kill going to that Rise indeed. Smolder now off defend the mid lane here.
I think
I'm
this
like
one's
for
just on, yeah. 3 Grubs, Jinx, Udyr. Yeah, this hurt just absolutely ripped apart. And Taylor Swift, I think, doing an excellent job of taking advantage of these Get Excited stacks whenever they get access to them. Teleport in. Deadbody hits 225. The Smolder now really wants to fight. Pressing everybody back. Calling in Mom even. Just making sure that everybody's forced to walk
No,
away.
TP
Joss is
with the
teleporting
Cho'Gath.
down.
Look at
But
top
in the
lane.
meantime, yeah, look topside. In the meantime, Rigor Mortis and Potato are just happy to split push as no one is coming back to defend. Joss used that teleport in the mid lane, and that wave is just going to crash into the turret.
Yeah, now Cho'Gath meeting in the jungle here. Got to be a little bit careful here as Potato. People are converging. They are going to steal away this red buff and get the hell out of there. I still potentially could get caught here. Recall coming through. Don't believe Sourcewalker is going to be able to get there in time, so safe escape after grabbing up that tier 2 in the top lane, and the gold is in favor of L9 now.
Yeah, the gold is there. There's still some stats that are in favor of Conduit with that Otacon buff, some intangibles that don't exactly get reflected in the actual gold score, but I'm starting to get a little worried for Conduit. That response to the side lane play has me questioning how they're going to deal with that later in the game, because we saw Jost, I'm going to be honest, kind of waste that teleport. That TP sucked. That got nothing out of that.
I definitely agree there. And you know, it's gonna be kind of hard for Jinx to solo push it.
Oh,
But
into
now
the
they're going
backline
for
goes
it.
Rigor Mortis with the Cyclone, but Rigor Mortis is on his own. Rainy is not in the right zone. Sourcewalker burning from the true damage from the Dragon, but it's not enough, and Taylor Swift has the rockets and is shutting everybody down. Midnight picks up a double kill, so does Taylor Swift. Rainy left on their lonesome. Joss gets a free meal. A clean ace for Conduit.
Midnight with a massive petrifying gaze there, just locks down all the members of L9, and just when we were singing their praises, they go down immediately with that combination there. And man, I mean, that's one way to just blow open the game. Just walking a little bit too far forward, finds an opportunity, but there is still a Cassio behind that Jinx, so able to just survive out that one. And yeah, now you're going to be kicking yourself. You just got the game in a decent spot, and now you just lost 2 objectives on the map and a ton of gold going the way of Conduit.
Yeah, and it was onto the carries as well. Midnight and Taylor Swift getting 4 out of the 5 of those kills in that fight. Joss getting the one that was on the tank, not really worth the most amount of money. I think for L9, this is the point in the game where you have to say, hey, we can't take straight up 5v5s anymore. We have to look for kind of tricky plays. We have to get picks here and there. We can't play for, oh, we're going to get our free engage into the front line and then dive onto the back line, because this Jinx is super well protected at this point in the game. She's now 3 items, has the Ardent Sensor Lulu behind her, like you said, has that Cassio Midnight with that incredible Petrifying Gaze. If you play into that win condition, Conduit is going to take it every single time.
Yeah, and it's a little bit hard for the Smolder here, since Smolder has to go for that LDR just to, or maybe even the Mortal Reminder, just to be able to make sure that Cho'Gath can die. Since the Rise went for a little bit more of a bursty build, there isn't too much consistent damage into it. So, it means that Smolder won't have the free firing capability of a rapid fire cannon, for instance. So
Yeah.
it's not going to be as easy as it potentially could have been if that was the case. Petrifying Gaze goes wide.
From Midnight doesn't find a lot of value. Rigor Mortis now has a chance to get in onto the front line. The Cyclone's there, so is the Wild Growth, but Sourcewalker's already down. Deadbotting picks that one up as the Elder Dragon finally procs for the Smolder, but the rest of L9 are forced on the run. Health bar super, super low. Joss flashing forward, Taylor Swift flashing forward. Deadbotting has the flash as well. Will you able to flap his way out of trouble? And L9 get out of there. A single kill, but still down in momentum.
Yeah, Rainy has to be a little careful. They could just go for the dive here, especially since the Chomp is still up here for Jost. But look at the HP bar on this Cho'Gath. There is nothing threatening this top laner at this point in the game, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult. We do see the Mortal Rinder completed for the Smolder, so that's at least a nice item to be finishing up here and already on the way to the Rapid Fire Cannon. But, I mean, unless somehow this game stalls 10 minutes, I think it's going to be pretty difficult for L9 to come back into this one. Now Living Phoenix wants to find Joss on the backside. Midnight is there in the area.
Yeah, Potato calls the Realm Warp down, but this is not the fight they want. They look for the pick on Joss, but the snake was hiding in the grass. Potato Senpai on the run. Living Phoenix starts to get rylized up. Flash over the wall from Potato, looking for some potential damage, but the silence over the wall from Joss is huge. Midnight trying to get one kill, picks up one on the killing spree immediately. Is taken back down. Joss now on the run, 1v3. Scary it up on the Cho'Gath that the rest of L9 will not take the fight as Sourcewalker has shown up. These fights are getting messier and messier, GG.
Yeah, and that's still just a 2-for-1, and the mid lane turrets are under threat by the super minions coming in too. So they're going to lose a turret here, most likely on the bot side, just because there is no one to answer that push on that side. And in the meantime, Taylor Swift and Justin weren't even there. The two arguably strongest member core for the side of Conduit there, just not even there, and it still was a 2-for-1, so I mean, it's looking kind of rough. That is kind of the right idea, but either the reaction wasn't there for the Realm Warp, or
I think just the wrong target. Joss can't be the one that you're trying to burst in the side lane. This Cho'Gath is so damn tanky. Even if Midnight wasn't there, yeah, they get the kill into Joss. Maybe they lose one thanks to the Feast, but you're still losing on the top side. You're still losing in mid lane. Those Nexus turrets are still under fire. The target can't be this tank in the side lane. It's going to have to be the Cassio, the Udyr, any of the members that aren't Jost. Deadbotting at this point is in a spot in the game where he just kind of has to hit whoever's in front of him. So put him in front of somebody who has a little bit of value and not in front of this Cho'Gath.
Yeah, just slight misplacement there, and the fact that Smolder jumps in on that Realm Warp is a little unfortunate, since not nearly as tanky as a Rise, for instance, so just gets taken down immediately. So Baron is up in a minute 50. They are looking for Jost again, but this time it looks a little bit better.
Yeah, teleport coming through from Midnight. Jost fairly tanky, but they do have the Shred. Smolder now in the area. They'll be able to take him down. Shutdown gold over to Smolder, but in the meantime, their mid lane is starting to get shoved down. These recalls have to get off, and Midnight really wants to cancel out. Deadbotting already canceled. One recall will get off. The second will go as well. Everyone will get back, but the Nexus turrets are there, and Taylor Swift is on these turrets. First one is going to fall. The second one should be under fire, but I don't know if they have the damage to finish it. They have to be careful. The burst can come through. Rigor Mortis can get onto that backline. Wild Growth, they'll be able to pick up one kill. Taylor Swift still alive, stunned up with the redemption, the healing, the shielding. Jinx is immortal. A triple kill for the AD carry, and that's game one going to Conduit Copers.
Yeah, good job there from Midnight to cancel the recall of the Smolder over and over and over again. Gonna be falling for their efforts, but at least gets the trade on the top side. But it looks good for Conduit for game one.
Yeah, a heck of a start for Conduit, showing that even as the underseed in this match, the fact that they got warmed up the week before last, and the fact that they've had that practice, feeling a lot better for them coming into this game one.
Yeah, so I mean, that's going to put them in a good position. We were talking about how it was getting kind of dicey, but, you know, at the same time, they still had the priority on the Jinx there to be able to just grab it up there. 36k damage makes a lot of sense for the most part, but I think it's kind of surprising. Look at that damage spread. Just, I mean, Sion pumping into the Cho'Gath, so it actually looks like
he's... damage numbers, they don't matter.
They're fake.
They're fake.
Yeah.
They're fake numbers. They were stacking grass on each other from minute one. Yeah,
but still, I think it was not a bad look from L9 anyways, Legacy 9. They still looked pretty good in this one. I think they just couldn't find their footing to be able to take down this pretty strong mid-jungle top lane trio. And then the Jinx, the beneficiary of that particular PowerPoint, means that they just take the dub in the game 1.
Yeah, I think plenty of good stuff. I think the draft felt good for both teams. It was just a matter of execution on the day that Conduit were able to come out with a Jinx composition that worked really well. It ended up working nicely for them. When we come back from the other side of this break, we'll see how the drafts are going to change coming into game number 2. We'll see you guys on the other side. Welcome back, everybody. After that barn burner of a game 1 between L9 and Conduit Copers, Conduit have taken first blood in the series, taking that first game down, and are now away from that. We still got a couple more games to go in our best of 5 fearless format.
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, I'm excited for this game too. We saw some pretty interesting stuff as far as the draft concerned. Mid lane pool just down to like 5
Oh, yeah.
champions or something. So I'm curious to see whether that'll continue, or we may see just an early lock-in of one of the powerful champions like an Orianna or something. Considering Hui and Mbessa were just immediately banned off the table, so then we might get an Orianna Victor. Blah 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 blah. You know, we've gone down these roads before, but I think it
I
should
can
be
see
a little
Syndra
interesting.
maybe making it through the draft here or there potentially. I think one of these pools off the table alongside that Udyr, which seemed very powerful in the hands of Sourcewalker. I can imagine both of these teams trying to pinch down that jungle pool a little bit more, maybe force them onto like maybe your Sejuani's, even your Jax's later on in the draft, try and just force you into a slightly less comfortable jungler style.
Yeah, there is always the classics such as Skarner or potentially just some of the AP junglers that are available.
Maokai is still pickable. I'm shocked that we haven't seen him in like ever.
No, but
That
it
guy
feels
is
so
still
bad to
really good.
play. I
But
mean,
he's
you get
still
the win,
really
but you just
good.
feel bad.
You press your win game button when you hit your engage, and then hey, look at that. The team
I,
fight's over.
I'm
Crazy.
with you. I'm a Maokai enjoyer, but I'm just telling you how it feels. It just feels terrible. If you're behind as Maokai, it's like, well, I'm putting down saplings and clicking R.
I'm warding. Well, when you're ahead as Maokai, it's okay. I'm putting down saplings. I'm pressing R, and then I'm pressing W.
And killing them. Hey,
Yeah.
let's go. Let's go. That Q, 20% of your HP gone, unfortunately.
Does quite a bit of damage, but we are in the draft here for game number 2. Mel
Same bans.
and Master Yi will stay banned. Sides remaining the same as well, so Hui is going to be taken out as well. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw the bans just remain the same. That Misfortune again getting picked up. If the bans stay the same, I wonder if there's going to be a little bit more priority on the mid laners this time around, just because both teams saw how quickly those pools got pinched.
Yeah, I assume that will be the case here, since Jarvan is also banned again as well. So pretty much locked bans so far. Tristana is again one of those more pressure-heavy bot laners here, taking off the
First
table.
pick,
Could be another jungle
Syndra?
here, or maybe an Orianna or something like that. I could see being
Orianna,
first
I
pick.
wouldn't hate.
Yeah, but Syndra it is.
Yeah,
You
it's
you
Syndra,
called
okay.
it correctly. A different
Yeah.
champion with balls, but actually I guess Orianna has one, so it's a little
She's
different.
she's got one. She's Lance Armstrong again.
Of course, and now
Classic always gets them. We
Ari.
are gonna see
I was gonna
Ari
say.
as the response there. Conduit. I think pretty comfortable with an aggressive mid-jungle duo, so I wouldn't be shocked if we just saw them lock
Viego.
in something like Vi or Viego just to play that aggressive 2v2. We are seeing the Jax, which could go into the hands of Josh, could also be into Sourcewalker's hands as well. I'm surprised to see the Jax rotated so early. You normally see this as a counter pick to other champions, especially when things like Gragas are still on the table, which has that really good matchup versus Jax on the top side. It is going to be Vi instead for L9, though. Syndra Vi, it's not Ari Vi, but it is still a pretty strong 2v2.
That is very, in my opinion, pretty strong of a matchup here. But the Jax is kind of just free if a Vi is actually going to be the jungler here. So I think they are going to stick the Jax in the jungle and just kind of play it out from there. But the 2v2, I would be a little bit more worried since Ari Jax doesn't exactly inspire confidence here. We do see Xayah locked in. Easy recon ban. Just make sure they don't get that lane pressure, especially since you are going into that Kai'Sa. And we see the Nautilus respect on the other side for both of these very strong pairings. Yeah, I mean, now it leaves up the top laners for the most part. And I think these are compositions that could use potential carry top laners. Besides, I think Conduit probably still wants a tank, to be honest, just based off what I'm seeing.
She's still up and
Mbessa,
available. Cassante is still also a possible champion. He's not exactly a carry, but he's a good frontline tank. And I think L9 as a composition kind of has enough damage. They're just looking for somebody who can sit in front and maybe be a dive buddy with the Kai'Sa. Cope, I imagine we'll see a Stewart pickup here potentially. Try and save that counter pick for top lane. Get Jost as good of a matchup as possible. So yeah, we are going to see the Renata actually. I like it versus
Deny
the
Kaisa
Kaisa.
Renata? Yeah.
Does deny Kaisa Renata, which is a good 2v2 as well. I don't know how I feel about it paired with the Xayah, but we're going to have to see how they pilot it in lane before I make any sort of judgment call with that.
Bard, nice. I like Bard here.
I
Makes
like
a
the
lot
Bard.
of sense. And now that leaves up top lane. I mean, I really do think it'll be a carry. I think on the side of Conduit, you could lock something like a Poppy here, especially if it's Cassante. Or you can slam like a Garen, for instance, if you just want to...
Bessa's still up. If you want to carry, she's kind of the premier carry top laner. I wouldn't be shocked if Conduit just slams that one for Jost.
Okay, it will be the Ambessa, so nothing too spicy, but makes a lot of sense here. I think basically both of these compositions got what they wanted. It didn't seem like they really cared what the opponent was going to get, besides that Renata pick for the side of Conduit here.
Yeah. I'm looking at L9's dive composition here with Cassante, Vi, Kaisa, even Syndra to a certain extent. She wants to get close to do her full burst combo. And you're trying to do that versus Xayah Renata, who are champions who love to have you running into them. You also have Jax and Bessa Ari, who are champions that when they don't have to be chasing you down with their dash abilities and they're just using it to reposition in fights, are having a great time. I worry for L9 in this game, especially after how we saw Game 1 play out. As we're getting directly onto the rest, the teams are speeding up the pace of play here, thank goodness for us. As we're going to get onto the rest here for Game 2, I'm worried for L9 in this game. I think it's going to be on a lot of their execution to actually make this game happen for them. Otherwise, I think we could see Conduit hitting that match point.
Yeah, I think Conduit's in a pretty good position. I'm surprised to see a Bard pick up. You know, Bard you usually pick when there's an immobile carry somewhere. But there's none.
Jost.
Jost is cooked.
Jost. He does have the double dash from those bites on
portal.
the queue. This the portal in from Living Phoenix. Do they have any sort of CC to follow up though? Sourcewalker pops the counter strike, is just gonna help the rest of the team walk out. I like the idea from Living Phoenix, but that's gonna gut your early laning phase.
Yeah, and I was just talking about how the Bard doesn't feel that great, and I was like gonna talk about how now it's just a lane pick. You're using it to abuse the hell out of a Xayah Renata potentially, but I don't even think you can now that you started the portal here and gave up the lane control on the bot side for the bush control for this first one. So I don't know. I think they put themselves in a pretty awkward position for the bot lane at least. I would have much rather preferred just Poppy on 4, just so like you prevent Jost from potentially last picking it as well, just as a draft kind of consideration there, and it does great into Jax. And Ari and Ambessa, and you kind of prevents them from playing Ambessa into the
preemptive Ambessa denial would be really nice, but Poppy, I'm gonna be honest, I think she just gets disrespected a lot in drafts. Teams pick all these dash champions without thinking about her. Teams will go against dash champions without like considering her. Life is just rough if you're Poppy. As TES with the dead body in the meantime, we're going to trade that plasma stack passive is going to come through and deal plenty of damage over to Taylor Swift. The Xayah, that shorter range AD carry, struggles to get out of trades like that, so really has to be, I think, a little bit more careful in situations like that.
Yeah, it does have the lane advantage here.
Flash handshake from Justin, flash away from Deadbotting. Taylor Swift with the heal, the feathers, it's just not enough. The barrier comes through, Deadbotting survives.
Yeah, barely not enough, but that is a potential force on a reset here. They want to make sure Deadbotting gets none of this XP here. Living Phoenix, nice stun.
Electrocute proc as well, so Taylor Swift will be taken down even
barrier.
further. Yeah, Deadbotting is going to get that level up, so we'll be able to stay in lane for at least a little bit longer thanks to that Doran's Blade healing. But yeah, starting with the portal on Bard just means your level 1 pressure is non-existent. You can't apply a ton of pressure. Another nice stun, but if you're doing that at level 1, this lane is so much easier for you.
Yeah, and I think if they did have, you know, Q there for the Bard on that level 1, with how poorly it looked for the Xayah, I think it could have been a pretty big capitalization there, but now they're in a weirder spot where they have the summoner disadvantage on that AD carry position, so they're just going to have to come up from a little bit of a behind position. Vi is in the area and is clearing much faster than Jax, is one of Jax's issues early on. Doesn't have that blue buff completed just yet, so a little bit of a benefit here. Taylor Swift now just walking up.
Walk up there from Taylor Swift. It does not manage to get hit by the Cosmic Binding, so we'll be feeling just fine. Yeah,
Rigamortis
both
is here
junglers starting to
early.
rotate down. Yeah, Rigamortis with the faster clear, like you said on that Vi, picking up that first move on the Scuttle Crab. And Sourcewalker's in the area, but with Living Phoenix already there, that Rift Scuttle's going to go down. And Sourcewalker has to make a play happen here because they're going to be losing both Scuttles otherwise. As Taylor Swift, in the meantime, with that bailout, has just been aggressing in. The barrier in versus the Ignite, but Living Phoenix is going to go out. The Ignite is ticking. Barrier's not enough. It's First Blood solo for Living Phoenix.
Yeah, just way too far forward. Just tried to take advantage of the fact the Bard walked up to secure the scuttle for Vi and just gets punished. Doesn't respect the just auto ignite from the Bard, being able to take him through the barrier as well. So pretty sloppy death there, and gives First Blood over to L9 in an unlikely scenario, all things considered.
Yeah, not exactly the person you want the First Blood on. I think pretty much any of the other four, you'd be happier with it, but just having that First Blood in general always feels nice. It doesn't even give more gold for the team anymore. It really is just like a cosmetic thing, like, oh, nice, we got First
Mental
Blood.
buff.
Way to go.
It's
Yeah,
a
mental buff.
I will say Bard is one of those champions, though. I kind of hate Bard for this. Like, when he gets
Yeah.
gold, he just gets to build whatever he wants, and I
Even
don't
when he
like that
doesn't
he
have
has those
gold.
options. That is true, but it gets even worse when he has gold. So I don't hate it on the Bard, especially because it needs to be an early game kind of pressure point for them to leverage, since you're not going to get as much value out of the ultimate for the Bard in this one. So I don't hate it, but hope to see some gold go onto the Kaisa, since you are still a dive comp at the heart of it.
Yeah, you still need the gold on your Kaisa, you still need the gold on your Cassante, your Syndra. Nice little electrocute proc there. This is another thing that I don't like that Bard does. Getting the electrocute just because of those meeps that are in your back pocket. You just chuck one of them at your enemy and then, hey, I threw another spell. That's three
Hold that.
things. It's an auto and a meep. They both count.
Yeah, hold that. I mean, it's kind of a classic. Living Phoenix still just being annoying, proccing the Guardian as well. So this is the difference between Renata and Bard. Bard has just consistent poke you can rely on, whereas Renata has to have a lot more concerted efforts as far as trading is concerned. Dead Body getting a nice shove in, which means free time for Rigamortis to be able to take this dragon. So Jack's off to a back foot, but that's kind of what you expect. Vi not a good early game jungler as far as like clearing and actually dueling and skirmishing a little bit, but Jax also needs the time to kind of get to those items. Yeah, somehow there's a champion that is worse than Vi. That is fascinating, but Jax always has that scaling advantage, so we'll rely on that going forward.
Yeah, we're gonna have to keep our eye on the level 6 tick as well. No First Blood was given over in top lane this time. Not even a kill given over yet. So, great job, top laners. You didn't decide to just mash at each other's face for once. We're so proud of you. But I think the big thing that we're looking for in this game is the level 6 points for these junglers. Rigamortis now has that cease and desist, is looking immediately towards this bottom side for a play. Q3 doesn't land for Rainy up there on the top side, but Taylor Swift low mana has to be careful. Flash Vault Breaker in, no feathers fly available. Taylor Swift is locked down, and Living Phoenix decides, yeah, I really need that gold, and takes the kill again.
Yeah, we just feed the Bard in this house. That's just how it goes.
So this is where you start building full AP, right? Like this is where you got the Dark Seal, yeah?
No, this is where you build like the toxic items, like Frozen Heart and stuff.
Oh, you go like Dead Man's Play, and you just go tanky.
Yeah, and you just be annoying because, oh, I got base damage. Take that. I will say that was actually kind of close for Joss to go down. If that Q3 hits, that is an ultimate away from your turret. Good luck. So we almost jinxed it, but it wasn't powerful enough since I didn't say it.
Yeah. I'm allowed to joke because I shout out the funny colors. You have to be smart, so whenever you say something, it has to come true.
No, that is not.
It's
exactly.
the opposite. I guess
it's
it doesn't
supposed
come
to be.
true.
Yeah, it's supposed to be that way, but the less League of Legends I play, the worse my predictions have become, or the game is just more random. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm sure one of those is true. I think you're absolutely right. We are seeing.
Yeah, but we're not going to pinpoint it.
We're seeing Elena's side to shuffle up. Rainey's going to head over towards the bottom side, start picking up these waves. Living Phoenix on the Bard gets their roam on, picks up some meeps here and there. We're going to see Dead Botting head up towards the top side to match up versus Joss. I think this is just good normal lane assignments. The Bramble Vest Cassante really is going to be taking a lot of damage versus the Xayah Renata, so I don't think Rainey is feeling under too much pressure here. In fact, feeling confident enough to actually just walk forward. Handshake in. Gets the Pathmaker down as well, but nothing really doing there. Sourcewalker in a bit of a pickle here. Midnight in the meantime stunned up in the mid lane, but Sourcewalker managed to just hop out there into the Dragon Pit, looking for a cheeky invade, but just nothing doing. As Phoenix now looking for a potential play. Handshake in, stun doesn't land, but everyone will just walk away from it.
Yeah, just using the base damage there to abuse it a little bit. We do have Kaisa, kind of mismatch 1v1 in the top side. Has to show a lot of respect for that public execution the Mbessa does have. Of course, canceling his back would be pretty big here for Rainy. But barely doesn't get it off there, so a little bit unfortunate, but still good for the side of Conduit. They're down basically 1,000 gold at this point, and a dragon as well. Plus the grubs are going the way of L9, so far looking very good for their side. But this is kind of just what Jax does. You fall behind on the first, I would say, 13 minutes, and then you hit Trinity Force, and the game's very different. So we'll have to see if that
Suddenly
spike actually does
real
come
champion.
True. Yeah, real champion.
Nice
With
little
a real weapon.
Potato. I will say this mid lane matchup has been a lot more Potato favored than the last one we saw. We didn't see the 2v2 kill come through, obviously, so Midnight not having that extra gold acceleration in their pocket, but Potato has really been holding his own in this 1v1, and I will say Ahri is not an easy matchup for Syndra. The extra mobility from Foxfire and from Spirit Rush means that hitting your stuns and getting your stacks on champions can be very difficult. So I think the fact that Potato is stacking well, is managing to be relevant in the lane, keeping up in CS, ahead in CS to a certain extent as well, this is good showing.
Yeah, I mean, Potato looked good in the last game as well, as far as the one-on-one laning is concerned, but it's just unfortunate how that early skirmish ended up breaking down there. So already showing some good signs here. Just threatening the unleashed power here. Potential to maybe take down Midnight when they aren't expecting it, but not going to commit for it fully here. Justin barely escaping that binding there. Will end up getting that ward through at the very least. And yeah, game's kind of stalling out just a little bit. We do have Drake in 30 seconds, so that should be something prioritized.
It's kind of insane that the game with Vi, Bard, and Kaisa is having less action in it than the Smolder versus Jinx bottom lane. That's a little insane to think about.
And you know what it comes down to? Respect. You know? They're showing some respect that the Vi could be somewhere. So we've been seeing Sourcewalker just kind of sit behind lanes and make sure that the Vi's not going to, you know, ping your lane at a pretty inopportune time. So I do like the respect shown, but it is, yeah, very interesting to see how reserved it's been so far. I would have at least expected some action in the mid lane onto the Ahri especially.
Yeah. I think the fact that we've only seen
nothing.
one cease and desist from Rigor Mortis on L9 here, while it's good that the cease and desist was valuable, they got a kill out of it, I'd like to see a little more, just be a little more pressure. This Dragon has started up, down to 2,500. Sourcewalker trying to beat it down. The rest of the team there, they have level 6s available to them. All ultimates up. Sourcewalker getting into the backline, flashes on top of Rigor Mortis, but a great binding from the Bard. It's just going to be the two-man stun up. And Bessa comes in, but it's just a little bit too late. Perfect execution down onto Living Phoenix. Into the portal they go. Joss gets stunned up. Justin gets a nice handshake in, but now Rigor Mortis back in with a cease and desist. Joss already down under half HP. A nice charm lands on Potato, but they just don't have the damage. Unleash power, not proccing the bailout. Midnight staying alive. Rainy will teleport in and has that all out as well, is able to come up and play aggressive, and Cope are just forced to walk back.
Yeah, and with Rainy TPing here too, they just don't have an option to try and re-engage into that one. So pretty good play here from Legacy, and real big shoutouts there to Living Phoenix to be able to find two with that ultimate, just locking them down, giving enough time for a pretty safe cease and desist onto Sourcewalker. And it results in the Dragon going their way.
Without that ultimate from Bard, I think that play just cannot happen. But at the same time, for Conduit, I'm shocked that they were the ones pulling the trigger, looking for a fight. Sourcewalker expended the jump and the flash in to try and get the stun down onto Rigor Mortis. And yeah, you got it, but you're playing the defensive composition. You're playing the Xayah Renata bottom lane. You can let L9 play into you. You can let them be the aggressors. You don't have to be the ones pulling the trigger in a fight like this.
Yeah, now we're seeing pretty standard lane assignments now, just the bot laners shifting towards that top side. Vi is in the area yet again. Justin's going to take some poke walking through here. Actually just going to deny, and now with Syndra walking up, has to show the full respect. We'll get some vision. Barely misses Jax on this top side, so not going to have that extra information for them to play around.
Oh my god, it's just so toxic. Leaving Phoenix is just far enough ahead that they can just walk forward and do whatever they want. They've got the Blood Song in inventory as well, so just that little bit of extra damage coming through on repeat. Ugh, it's so nightmarish. I've been in
I
this
love
spot that
Bard
Justin's
Smile.
in. I've been in this spot that Justin's in, and especially when you're playing Renata, it's so difficult to try and even walk up as the killer instinct is there. Justin forced to use the flash and the heal to get out as we've got to play here on the bottom side. Joss maybe looking for the public execution, Rainy looking for the all out, but they're not going to end up going for it. Joss just using these Eclipse procs to get that extra bit of percent max health damage in.
Yeah, did end up getting some CC here.
Here we
Rainy.
go. All out from Rainy. Joss now potentially the one in trouble. Sidesteps the Pathmaker, gets in with the public execution. It's 200 years versus 200 years. Who comes out on top? Joss in the meantime struggling in the 1v1. That anti-heal putting in so much work. Rainy not able to get the Untofo strikes down. Flash forward. One more auto. Rainy finds the solo.
And gets the shield back up to survive. I mean, Ambessa's just the cheap copy at this point, right? That's what determined. You got 200 years v 200 years. Well, one's a tank actually, so balances out. Potato now.
Spirit Rush in. Midnight taking a lot of damage. Charm doesn't land, but Source Walker has that counter strike. Midnight gifted the kill with an auto attack. Nicely played by the mid jungle 2-on-2.
Yeah, pretty good attempt there at the very least, but just can't overcome the number advantage there. Source Walker gets a nice bit of payday, but does go mostly towards the way of Midnight, who's gonna need the gold going forward since you did inject, kind of invest in that Mercury Trench. Makes a lot of sense. Syndra, Vi, Cassante, these champions that are kind of annoying, especially for CC. As we do see Source Walker forced to kind of catch this wave in the mid lane. I will say, Joss played that well. Dodged so many of Rainy's Qs, but it did not matter.
Did everything possible, dodged as many Untofo strikes as possible, got as many Eclipse procs as they could, got the public execution damage down as well, but just... Cassante's kind of good. He's able to full stack armor, which means that even with the Eclipse procs, you're just not doing a ton of damage.
Oh, Potato gotta be careful.
Looking for a trade here. Joss has the Eclipse shield, so we'll be able to get out. But now the wave is gone. Sourcewalker's gonna start tanking up the turret. They gotta go. Grandmaster's might. He's able to tank up the turret. One more shot will finish him off. The last second, not unleash power, but just the Q down. Balls come through and he's taken out. Living Phoenix forced to flash away. Taylor Swift popped the feathers fly there. Not able to find a ton of value out of it, but they got the flash out of the Bard at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, interesting. That's an interesting ultimate. I don't know. I'm speechless after that one, but we'll let it slide just a little bit. I like the ambition at the very least. 1 minute till this Mountain Drake does spawn. Vision advantage over towards the side of Conduit, so they may have an easier opportunity. Joss now going towards the top side with that TP available, so Midnight going to have to do the long trek towards that bot side to be able to join up for this fight, because I expect a fight in this one.
Yeah, you can't really let the Cassante stack up these Mountain Dragons. It also would be sole point, as L9 have just had total control over the bottom side with all the attention Rigor Mortis has paid down here. We see that dead botting is nearly on that 2-item spike. At least at 1.5 is looking to get towards that second item. And they just have the ability to just walk inside Conduit's jungle at this point in the game. Life is just rough if you're on the Conduit side. And Midnight, not even realizing the potential play to be had. A nice charm there, but the stun comes through. Killer Instinct, they want this Ahri dead. The Spirit Rush gets the heck out of dodge, buying plenty of time, but it's just buying time. Flashes away as well, gets some damage down on the Living Phoenix. Another charm lands, but Midnight, you got 1 HP, buddy. Rigor Mortis, somebody should be able to finish this off. They're going to give it over to Dead Botting. The Kaisa will find her second kill.
Yeah, but in the meantime, Ambessa, free time alone in this top lane. So she'll be able to at least grab a bunch of damage onto it, maybe potentially even taking it down here. And because of how much HP it actually costs them diving Midnight there, they're actually going to lose prio on the Drake that they kind of forced here.
I don't know how I feel about this. This is a risky startup. Yeah, the Dragon is fairly tanky. I don't think they have the damage to actually take it at this point. They're going to start to peel it out. It doesn't even reset, so just a little leash for L9 as they walk in 5-member strong. Midnight still out of it. Joss not TPing in. Midnight not even having to teleport means that, yeah, this Dragon's just gone. That's just soul point for L9.
Oh, you got to be a little careful now. One big Bartle, and that could be, a very big opening here. 6 minutes till that Baron. 1 minute 55 for the Otacon, which is spawning on that bot side. So, I don't know, pretty interesting, at least lane assignments and how the gold has kind of came through here. Mbessa should be kind of scary, but at the same time, there is decent amount of peel for the Mbessa dive. Like, you can't have a
Yeah.
solo dive here for the side of Conduit. And they found...
Ultimate in. They found Taylor Swift, who does have the Featherstorm, but still can't get it off. Finally presses the button, and they've got the shutdown. Sourcewalker finds the Sun Potato, picks up the bailout, will manage to walk out, but shutdown means that the bailout procs. Taylor Swift will survive. The Unleashed power forced to be expended, as Potato will find Taylor Swift, but they will die in its stead.
Man, I need to stop complimenting L9 sometimes. I don't know, like, it's looking good, and then, oh, they just threw at mid lane. That's number 2. It still was a good attempt. I think they just didn't expect the kill to come through. Rainy looking for Justin. Doesn't have the all-out, though, so not exactly the easiest to guarantee that the damage does come through. Sourcewalker, for his efforts, will be rewarded with a red buff as well as a Krug camp on the bot side here. So nice looks, at the very least, to be able to extend that lead just a little bit. 1K now separates these two teams, but the 3 Dragons is still a very big wall to overcome for Conduit. And you know, I don't know. It's kind of in a weird spot where I think Conduit has a good opportunity to be able to find a pick with the Ahri, with the Renata as well, being able to deny some of that extra support, but
one fight's going to be the difference maker in this. It's going to be around this dragon. I think Otacon is kind of just secondary to the dragon that's coming up in 3 minutes, as Midnight is going to take a lot of damage. Orb Deception going the wrong way, but don't worry, Midnight, no one saw that. I do think that for Conduit, that's exactly the kind of fight they want to have happen, though. It's kind of unfortunate that Taylor Swift dies there, but all of the engaged Burnout of the Xayah, who has the defensive tools, had the flash, had the ultimate, had the Renata bailout on top of her, all of the defensive tools used on the target that took all the pressure, and then Conduit could turn and continue the fight back. They had a great hostile takeover over the top from Justin Watt. They had Sourcewalker in the backline, who managed to proc the bailout for Taylor Swift, super importantly. And if they can continue to fight like that on the back foot, looking to pull L9 overextending, get them closer to their team, that's how they're going to win this game.
This is kind of difficult. These kind of like just walk up an ARAM a lane. Pretty hard for Conduit to find stuff. They did commit the TP here from both Joss and Midnight. They want this fight.
Yeah, they do not want to allow Otacon or the Dragon to go over. Dragon's still 2 minutes out, but Conduit just don't want to lose anything else in the mid lane. Midnight turret already went down. Potatoes hunting for stuns. Finds it onto Joss, but it's not exactly the target. Midnight onto the back line. Gets the charm in. Public execution as well. They found Potato Senpai. They are managing to get the Temper Fate onto the back line. Midnight will survive. Sourcewalker still there as well. But Rainy onto the back line. Rigor Mortis gets a nice assist onto the back line. The 2-man knockup from that Vault Breaker. But Midnight finds him. Rainy will pick up the kill as well. Living Phoenix finding the last hit onto Joss. Rainy looking for a little bit more. Flashes in. Gets the Pathmaker in. But loses the all-out. No more damage means Justin is able to find the kill. Now Dead Body forced on the run. Has the Mary, but doesn't have the flash. Killer Instinct in. Bailout from Midnight. It might be enough, but a great stun from Living Phoenix means that he just is forced to watch himself burn away.
Very close fight here. Both bot laners, the only ones alive. So it's going to be, you know, a pretty even trade, but, you know, that was just a straight ARAM for, you know, hey, we're just tossing off the gloves. We want this fight here. We think we can win it. And I mean, both teams were not exactly inaccurate in their deductions there, as it does go 3 for 3, and now they're both gonna all respawn and book it towards this Otacon. You don't want anyone to have an easier time to kind of just stall it out, or, you know, leash it in an inopportune moment here, as they are going to clear up some of this vision. But nice vision line already set up for Conduit, so just threatening the potential of it. In 30 seconds, this drag will be the focus. Soul point, of course, but they haven't really been able to establish the pocket since there was a bit longer of a delay for the Xayah to rejoin in this one. Joss gets caught.
Lands onto Joss, has that shield for themselves. Will able to survive that thanks to the repudiation. But the Dragon's still in favor of L9. They still have control of this pit. Sourcewalker looking for potential engage. Flashes in on top of Potato Monster. They're looking for the play. Temper Fate doesn't find any value, but in the meantime, Rigor Mortis now into the backline. Sourcewalker forced to leap strike out. Defense is used, but some important offense is used as well. Sourcewalker no longer has that flash. Justin used that heal as well. And there's still a couple of key defensive summoners and ultimates available for L9. Now having control of the river, looking to just force Cope out. A nice two-man stun into the Vault Breaker, into the cease and desist, and Taylor Swift is not allowed to press a single damn button. Hostile takeover gets some value, but it might not be enough. Joss in the backline, found Potato Monster will die as well. They're managing to pick up one. Dead Body still alive. Rainy looking for a potential trade. A nice charm in. They get the stun as well, but now they all out with Sourcewalker onto the backline. Pathmaker in. You get bailed out, but you jumped the wrong direction. Rainy finds the kill, and this should mean L9 should get their free Mountain Soul.
Yeah, they're going towards it. With the Kaisa up, and just the mid laner here of Midnight with no Spirit Rush. It should be pretty hard for them to lose this unless Rainy somehow gets caught in the mix here. They are looking for it nonetheless. Deadbotting should be so strong.
Deadbotting just flashing forward, a handshake in, but it's just not enough. Justin goes down, and now Midnight, you gotta find a miracle steal. Looking for some potential poke onto Living Phoenix. The teleport's coming through. Dragon's down to 1.6, but they're just trying to force Midnight out. Flash away, but you have to go for the Dragon. Dragon goes over to L9, and now they have the defensive ability to just take the portal and get the heck out. Just TP'd in, but doesn't find any value.
And they might turn on Jost here if he walks a little bit too far forward with the Vi in the area.
Ignite in, maybe a little too early on the trigger pull. Joss manages to dash out, gets stunned up anyway. Vaultbreaker in, Joss, unleashed power from Potato, takes down the Ambessa.
Yeah, and that's just a little bit of an over-index. Now your tempo's off with your top laner. They do have to commit the resources for the backs here, but with Rigor Mortis, full HP with Potato in the area, Taylor Swift still has to be careful. Cease and desist is up. Oh no.
Lance, this should just be a dead Xayah, forced to use the ultimate. Rigor Mortis has that Vault Breaker, gets over the wall with it.
That's a good resource to burn though.
Yeah, now without that defensive tool, they just have the flash and the bailout to keep themselves safe. Conduit, I think, have just been too aggressive in these fights, trying too hard to mash their head into the wall as Taylor Swift is going to get caught by that Tempered Fate. Nice handshake will keep Rigor Mortis out. Flash away from Taylor Swift to get away from the stun. Rainy now looking for some way in. They've got the cease and desist. They found their target, and there goes Taylor Swift. Hostile takeovers over the back, but it just doesn't find a lot of value. Bailout on Justin just doesn't do anything. Deadbot now on a rampage. The Kaisa unleashed onto the back lines.
Dive composition, doing as dive compositions do, finds a nice consistent flow of burning the 80 carries resources and then finally committing fully with the Kaisa finally committing the ultimate there as well. So really well played here, and they're gonna grab up this Otacon in a pretty demanding fashion here with the soul as well on top of it. They are set up for victory in this one. Still have to go through the Elder Drake, since that will probably spawn before this game ends if I had to guess. Baron is still now going to be the focus, but L9 has not been shy to just go for fights in this game, so expect more action very soon.
I think this is kind of the L9 that we were expecting coming into today. A little bit more aggressive, a little bit more willing to pull the trigger, and a little bit more coordinated. Game one, it felt they were playing as 5 fingers, but this game, they are the hand. They are full diving any chance that they get. They, like you said, they burn those defensive cooldowns from Taylor Swift, and any chance that they find Xayah, as soon as she loses the ultimate, as soon as she loses the flash, instantly on top of her saying, hey, you lost that summoner, you lost that ultimate, you're vulnerable, you're mine.
Yeah. We are not saying, sorry. Just heard a little birdie in my ear say something that should not be said on broadcast, so we will move along. 4K gold up here for L9. Rainy just looking for the scrap on the bot lane, but there is action on the top side. Nice catch here, Midnight.
Taking quite a bit of damage. Potato has that Cosmic able to just continue the chase down. Sourcewalker gets caught by the Tempered Fate and is just not very tanky on the Jax. Taken down, and with no jungler, it should just be the Baron turn for L9.
Yeah, now free Baron. You got the jungler, Sourcewalker. Not the easiest game of Jax at this point. There just isn't, you know, a reliable amount of damage on the other portions of your team composition with this burn, Ahri, as well as a Xayah that's been really hard focused, so doesn't have the time to kind of do the damage that you'd expect for the Jax.
Pick here. They get another root down. Rainy just now under half HP, but now the rest of L9 is coming through. Justin forced to flash and heal to get out. What looked like an attempt at a pick is just instantly turned into a full retreat.
Yeah, there's just no way to tear through it with only that Essence Reaver and Navori's for the side of the Xayah. It's just not enough damage.
Midnight.
Gotta be careful. Ult
Unleash
coming
power
up
is
in like
not
5
up,
seconds.
but Potato can just chase it down, but not even needed. Rigor Mortis, Flash Vault Breaker over the wall, just says hello, goodbye to Midnight.
Yeah, Living Phoenix now finding Jost. Jost kind of wants it looks like, but just kind of faking some commitment here. Not bad to get a resource out. Gets the TP out of Rainy here. So they're just going to try and force the turret down because you do have that
I don't know
Baron.
if you can finish that recall, Taylor Swift has to be able to cancel it. Yeah, I think they're just forced to sit inside their base for a little while. Potato is forcing out that top lane turret as well. If they don't lose an inhibitor on this push, I would say it's a win for Conduit, but even then, it's barely a win as the siege is continuing here. These Baroned up minions doing so much work. Life is just not easy for these members as the Void Seekers are starting to do plenty of damage as well. Deadbotting, hitting that second stage of the Kai'Sa build where they inject a little AP and now suddenly are also a poke champion.
Yeah, that's fun. Very low-ranged poke champion, turns out. Pretty good. Will just be able to take down this inhibitor as well in the mid lane. So 2 inhibs down. They still do have quite a bit of a wave to push on the spot side before they get into that area. But the gold has ballooned to 10k with the Dragon Soul on top of it. They're turning their attention towards this Elder, and it doesn't seem likely that they'll be able to put up much of a fight here. They are giving up a bit of space, so if they make a good read that no one else is in the area, they can maybe look to take down Rainy in the meantime, since Taylor Swift now has that IE completed.
Taylor Swift is forced to use the ultimate. I thought for sure was just dead there, but Potato Senpai did not want to burn the ultimate. But again, now without that Feather Storm, Rigor Mortis just has a free angle in, and Cope are forced onto the retreat. Sourcewalker gets stunned up. He may be the target they're looking for instead. Leaf strikes out, but already under a third HP. Living Phoenix is here on the flank angle, finds a stun, and that means Midnight gets locked up, caught out. Killer Instinct onto the backline from Deadbotting. This game should just be done. Joss TP's in, but it's a little, too late. We'll manage to keep the recall for Taylor Swift up, but the rest of L9 are storming into the base, and I don't think these Nexus turrets will be alive for much longer. Taylor Swift trying their best at a Valley-based defense, but another great two-man stun. Living Phoenix on this Bard, keeping L9 alive, keeping their hopes for keeping this series tight as well, as it looks like L9 are just going to even the series up 1-1 in beautiful fashion.
Yeah, very clean game there for the most part. Not many blunders, especially after the ball got rolling. Good attempts here from Conduit, I'd say, but I mean, it was pretty much Legacy Esports 9 for 99% of that game, just showing the dominance of this super heavy, easy to execute dive composition that they decided to go for.
Yeah, and this is what happens when you can execute on a composition like this, when you can make it happen for your team, even into the difficulties of playing versus Xayah, Renata as a dive composition, even Jax to a certain extent. These champions that do so well when you're running into them. If you get ahead early, if you have your resources on the right targets, if Living Phoenix is able to just go deathless the entire game, nearly match Deadbotting in damage, mind you. That's too much damage for a support.
Well, we did talk about how Bard does everything.
You can kind of just continue to play the game. Potato Senpai also having a great game there. We had some questions after Rise in game number 1, but I've been shut up after that Syndra performance in game 2. That was some beautiful stuff.
Yeah, I mean, just fishing for that QE. I mean, that's what Syndra does best in the mid game. So not really showing the respect of that actual ability, and just finds a ton of picks, especially onto Taylor Swift sitting at that 0.67. Oh God, I said it.
You said it. You said it. I was trying so hard to avoid the scoreline.
Well, gotta do it now. Okay, no, I'm kidding.
You didn't have to, and now you did, and now that's gonna be clipped and live on the internet forever. I hope you're happy with that, and I hope you guys are happy with that heck of a performance that we saw from both of these teams. We're on to game number 3 after this quick break. We'll see you on the other side when we jump into that draft for game number 3 between Legacy Esports 9 and Conduit Copers. We'll see you there. Welcome back, everybody. We are getting ourselves ready for the draft of game number 3 between L9 and Conduit Copers. But we got a couple of orders of business to take care of before we get there. First, it is my duty, obligation, and honor even to let you all know that if you like any of the sick gear that you see me wearing, if you think this shirt looks snazzy, or you see any of the other merchandise over on FOFesports.com/Titan-Esports, you can go check them out this week for the Black Friday sale going on up until December 4th. So it's not been around for that much longer, but you have a 20% off all items in store, including this snazzy shirt. If you think it looks really nice on me, it'll probably look really nice on you. And that is in addition to any orders of $100 or more get an additional $20 off. So you are saving a heck of a lot of money if you can make your order before this week ends. Go to, again, FOFesports.com/products/Titan-Esports for more. If you go to FOFesports.com, you'll be able to find the products page. I trust you all. Now, unfortunately, after that nice bit of news, I have something much worse to share with you. Every week we do a Kiss, Marry, Kill, thanks to our wonderful producer, Golden. And this week we got 3 awful, awful options that nobody loved, but unfortunately we still had to do them.
You know what? I kind of, I kind of like Snowman Master Yi. You know what?
You can't
That's
even take
the
him
goat.
inside. He's gonna melt.
That's fine. Seasonal. He'll be back.
Hopefully he'll be back if he's not running off with another woman.
Well, you never know. There are 3 people here, candidates for marriage here on Master Yi, because, I don't know if I can tolerate Corky's accent for more than a day.
I can take him for a night. And
yeah,
I
Nutcracker.
It would go against my principles to do anything other than to kill any version of Shaco, let alone Nutcracker, which is one of the creepiest versions of Shaco.
It's a nutcracker. I know that's one of people's phobias. It's among the many, so makes a lot of sense here. I do have to question, considering we're all in agreement on most of these,
outside
except
of
for
Loki.
Loki.
I understand killing Master Yi. I can get that. If you really dislike Master Yi in-game, if you struggle with him, especially if you play the ARAMs, the Mayhems, you get those, oh, Master Yi just gets a penta because we don't have a composition that deals with him. I get that. I don't know about kissing Nutcracker, though. I don't know about doing anything other than killing Nutcracker.
Hey, just think about it. Master Yi's got Wuju style,
I
That's all
don't
I'm
want to
saying.
think about this for any longer than I have to, actually. I already know that one of these 3 is going to appear in my dreams, and it's not going to be a pleasant one.
That is fair. All right. Take us away, please. No, we're stuck.
The audiobook, yeah.
Oh my god, we are hearing some obscenities from Golden right now about why Corky is only kissed, by the way. But still.
I do think Corky is the second best option out of everybody here, and it's just unfortunate that all 3 of these are really terrible options. We are waiting on the draft to finish up, so we get a little bit more time to stare at all 3 of these
You do
lovely
have to
faces.
respect the fact that Ice Toboggan Corky is one of the OG legendaries. That is a
Is
fact.
Ice Toboggan? I don't think Ice Toboggan is legendary, is it?
It is legendary. It is one of the first with Majestic Twisted Fate.
Hang on, I have to go look at now. I thought it was a 1350.
No, well, it might be a cheaper legendary, but it is classified with a red diamond there.
No way.
So that is a legendary skin.
RP cost 1820. Yeah, wow, that is a legendary skin.
Yep, you gotta show
Wow.
respect. One of the OGs, still with the OG splash art too, and as guild
When they designed
Gildy,
splash arts to only take up 1/3 of the screen.
yeah, as Gildy's pointing out here,
I
Corky can't stand, so there must be something insane down there.
I'm not dignifying that with any sort of a response. I think all 3 of these are terrible choices. I'm glad most of us agreed to kill Shaco, at the very least.
Yeah, I really want to move on from this, but it's still on our screen.
We
So
have to wait for the draft. We
Oh,
have the
thank
draft.
God.
Thank goodness. I never have to think about those 3 skins ever again. Hopefully. We're in the
Well,
draft.
we're
You can see
free.
those fearless bands at the bottom of
We're
your screen.
swapping
The teams
sides.
are finally swapping sides. Conduit, after losing on the red side, are going to move over to the blue, and we're going to see how their strategy changes up. Tristan is banned away, so technically their bands still remaining the same, but in now a different order.
Well, depends if they keep the Mel. I could see them leaving Mel open to force L9 to ban it as a first pick.
Possibility.
Kind of response there. So I'm kind of curious to see how that'll actually end up going. So far, it looks like they're probably going to end up banning the same thing here, Hui taken off the table. So will it be the Mel here to just have exactly the same bans even though you're on a different side? It will.
Yeah,
okay.
wow,
We're,
it is.
we're
Okay.
sticking with it. Jarvan will be the last ban here. Makes a lot of sense. So that leaves, jungler pool kind of pinched already.
Oh, they're banning
it's actually
Sejuani.
Sejuani.
We
Oh,
get a
Jarvan
change.
first pick.
There's a singular change. Oh my god. Stop the
Jarvan
presses.
first pick. And it's going to be a Poppy to respond. Watch this. Okay.
I like the thought process, but what if Conduit just picks
Whoa,
Poppy first?
Croc.
They're gonna pick
Whoa.
Renekton as the first pick instead here.
Without
Interestingly enough,
I feel like you
yeah.
pick it with the idea that Mbessa will most likely get picked. Oh, that was a flash in a different direction.
No,
It's a Gwen.
it was the wrong champion. Maybe we'll see Renekton later down the line. Maybe we won't. Who knows? But it's actually Gwen as the first pick here.
Old. Corky.
So I
Oh
guess-
God, Ice Toboggan.
I have to think about him again. No. L9 is watching the stream and they understand that they are torturing us currently, as Caitlyn is going to be picked into it. Caitlyn did receive a slate of nerfs towards the passive in this most recent patch. She's still probably really good. She's got the range. She has the lane domination ability, especially if you pair her with something like a Karma, another poke champion with a lot of range, especially into Corky, a champion who struggles at dealing with long-range characters pre-level 6. I think this is just a good bottom lane matchup.
It could. I mean, I'd expect an aggressive mid here. I think actually Akali doesn't look terrible into the champions that Conduit has picked already. So if you want to pick the Akali Viego as just your go big kind of 2-on-2, I could see it being an angle. Azir getting banned out as well. I expect a lot of mid lane bans here since the pool's already pinched with a lot of the premiers out. Talia still up as well.
Azir,
Aurora
Talia,
keeps getting banned.
Orianna, I assume, will be the 4 bans here. They have options. They have potential. There are still a couple of the more interesting
Victor.
picks available. Victor's going to be banned instead. So one of Talia or Orianna
Talia
will be
for
getting
sure.
through.
You need a
So
ban
now it's
Talia
just a matter
here.
of which one they'll pick up first. It's LeBlanc that's actually going to be banned. So maybe saying, hey, if you're going to pick one, we'll pick the other. What will you do about it? Now L9 kind of has to make a choice. Which powerful mid laner do they want, or are they going to instead blind pick a top laner and save counter pick? No, it's Lissandra
The Faker
as the
classic?
blind pick made. Okay, you know what? I like it actually.
Yeah, this is a Faker classic. Owner and Faker actually liked picking this like 2 seasons ago. So good to see it back, and we're gonna get an immediate response of something that just outranges Lissandra and just farms. All right, Veigar locked in. It is gonna be a difficult Veigar game.
This is
you know.
good. Yeah, there's that Renekton.
Oh, he's Gwen jungle. Oh God, my
Yeah,
brain.
it's the Gwungle.
Oh God, don't say Gwungle. What the hell?
No, it's the Gwungle.
Oh God.
I have to call it the Gwungle. If
Okay.
Gwungle wins this game, it will be because of Gwungle.
Okay, interesting. This is a draft I was not expecting at all. I was gonna say Veigar has a very hard time, and I think especially now seeing Gwen jungle, Renekton top, and no engaged support slash really good peel. Good luck to this Veigar Caitlyn.
Yeah, hang on a minute. Their entire engage and defensive is on Vigar Cage or
Yes.
Mantra Shield from Karma. How do they play fights? Do they
And the
just
thing
not
is,
play-
you have a champion that literally just says, "I don't care about Cage," which is Lissandra, at all.
Like, teleport through Cage. They have Ornn who can engage past the cage. He can unstoppable through a wall. Viego can get around it. At the very least, partially, the Heartbreaker is unstoppable, so he'll be able to get through it and deal his damage, even if he's stunned on the other half. I think Cope just has to not play fights. When you're looking at Ornn, Lissandra, Nautilus, not even mentioning the Vigar Corki, you just say, hey, we're going to play side lanes instead. We're going to send Renekton up, and he's going to take a 1v1, maybe a 1v2, and make it difficult for L9. In the meantime, the rest of the team is going to get something else done on the map with the numbers advantage.
I am curious to see how this will go. I think if Conduit does not get an early lead, and it's not likely that they will, considering what they
It's
have Gwen jungle,
yeah.
this is gonna be a rough one.
I feel like they have not set themselves up for a lot of success. Obviously, they have enough comfort on these champions that they are picking them here in a very important game number 3, as it will be a momentum decider. It sets your team to match point. It gives you that mental edge. But at the same time, I feel like they really haven't given themselves a lot of easy tools. And when I look at L9's composition, you have point and click crowd control, you have easy engage, you have consistency from the Ornn, from the Viego, from the Corki. These are not champions that have a lot of prerequisites to do what they need to do.
Yeah, and Lissandra Viego is a good 2v2. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think you can really do anything as the Veigar Gwen early on, so they should have full prio early on. Corki Nautilus is not generally going to die to the Caitlyn Karma in most scenarios. We'll see. I mean,
They'll eat a lot of poke, but do they care?
yeah. And then Renekton into Ornn. I hate Renekton into Ornn.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
that feels
is
terrible.
I think the worst possible matchup for Renekton, actually. Because Ornn,
Yeah.
especially if you don't respect his damage, like we've seen a lot of Vanquisher top laners do, if you die to Ornn, your game is over. It's done.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
don't get back into the game without some serious help from your jungler, from your mid laner, even from your support roaming up to give you that advantage back. And if they're putting resources up towards top side, you're not putting them in your Gwungle, you're not putting them in your Veigar, you're not putting them in your Caitlyn. It doesn't get easier for you.
Yeah, I mean, Renekton has the potential to really pop off early on, and if you can find a couple kills on Ornn, you can kind of gate him from ever joining this game. But that is a hard feat to do, especially with no setup jungler to kind of rely on. This is generally when you see a Nidalee, you know? You go Nidalee, Renekton, we're slamming top. That is just what's going to happen. But this is a Gwen. Doesn't have the kind of burst damage that you'd expect, but does have the force in the late game to shred through some of these tankier members. But I don't know. I'm a little bit doubtful of the exact 5 champions they've assembled in this game. Oh my, wait, this has to be scripted. How do they know?
No, Dead Body knows. He knows. He's fully aware, and he's doing this specifically to hurt me. Not you, not anybody else. Me specifically.
Nice. Toboggan, Corgi. OG legendary. Don't forget it.
I can't believe this skin is a legendary. Why is
I mean, look
legendary?
at the quality of that toboggan.
I mean, I guess. Yeah, it's a nice
very
toboggan.
well modeled.
As Rainy is happy to just take a trade, gets the 2-man
that is a dead
knock-up.
drop.
Oh no! Oh, Joss, he's sticking away with the ignite.
Double flash!
But it doesn't matter. It's first blood to Living Phoenix. The flash is expended unnecessarily, as the Renekton is already put behind. Oh dear,
That was
oh dear.
insane synergy from the side of L9. They both flashed into the wall with both of their primary carries. That was that was goated. Can't say it any other way. Rigor Mortis gets to limp away after watching that. At least they got the kill, but it's on Living Phoenix, who just keeps up the trend of being the one to receive all the gold in the early game.
Yeah,
oh,
unfortunately, he's not playing Bard this time.
Yeah, Nautilus. I don't know. You get to rush Swifties faster, maybe.
Yeah, either Swifties or Symbiotic Souls, or maybe even your Locket or Redemption first, if that's what you're going as. Potato is just gonna make life difficult for Midnight. Gets the Electrocute rock in there. More often than not, we see the Lissandras run the Aftershock nowadays just for the defensive utility in team fights, especially. And you're often picking Lissandra versus champions that you can abuse the Aftershock against, these shorter range champions, these burst champions. But in a matchup like this, I think the Electrocute is actually better because you can match range with Veigar. Veigar's not really going to get in range for you to actually get any value out of the Aftershock. I think it's a better choice here.
Yeah, and also you don't really want to be diving when you're against a Caitlyn because you can't reliably just click R on your face and survive anything since you will be trapped out afterwards. So I kind of like the Electrocute. You're playing a little bit more of a mid-range G. You're playing more to just deny the threat of the Renekton dive. Joss doing a good job here controlling the wave. Has to play like he's Impact, basically, if he wants to win this one.
That guy was goated on Renekton in his day.
Yeah.
Impact, I understand that he's had a bit of a fall off recently. He's been in the league for the heck of a long time. That guy is still my goat. He's not the goat. He's my goat.
Yeah, definitely one of the Renekton pioneers, whereas Bwipo's Renekton is run it down and then find some insane teamfight angle. This Impact's
And
just
then
good
say
laning.
something, and then say something
Oh, well,
poor
yeah,
about women.
very, it's okay, he said sorry, right? That's enough.
Yeah, it's not like he said sorry every single other time and then said it again anyway. But we don't have to comment on Whippo at all. I do think Rainy, I think, is going to be in a better spot.
Like I don't know. We're just chilling.
We're back. We're here. I'm hearing from our producer that we are audible again. Welcome back,
So
everybody.
back. We're so
If
back.
you didn't hear what we said before, please use your Prime subscriptions on twitch.tv/Titan Esports NA to help us deal with this stuff like this in the future. It really means a lot that you support us in the ways that you do.
Yeah, we're funding, I don't know, maybe a better Discord server. I don't know. Something like that. Either
We
way,
should be getting the
we're back
feedback
in.
sooner rather than later
Well, I
for
see our stream
ourselves.
is live. We just need
The game
some
has
video for
resumed.
us. Okay.
And
Let's
hey, we have a feed
go.
again. We were able to cast for you guys normally. That first blood, pretty exciting from before. The gank in the bottom lane, I think, even better. Rigamortis getting those resets, like I said, a big deal for the Viego. He really gets to start to make life difficult for these Cope members.
Yeah. And now we're seeing, I mean, pretty chill for most of these members. They will have the advantage in the bot lane. For the most part, but the CS is still in the favor of the Caitlyn despite some of those kills going L9's way. So still have to be a bit careful here on that side. Let's see. Midnight's having a bit of a hard time as well. Just CS lead in their side too. Nice cancel on the recall here by Justin. Just to
Oofed.
stall out the Lissandra. This is not a cannon wave, so might be able to get a decent push, but both of these mid laners just going to TP back to lane like nothing happened.
This is the real support gameplay. You run over to mid, you throw a spell, nothing happens, and then you run back bot. That's how you play support. If you ever get autofilled support, just do that consistently for the entire game. I promise nothing bad will happen.
Yeah, nothing at all. I used to like, when I played Maokai support, you just walk mid, you press sapling on the recalling mid laner, and they cry.
We've got a potential engage here, but the wave is here in time. Taylor Swift and Justin hiding behind their minions valiantly, not allowing Nautilus to get a hook through. So L9 thwarted in their attempt to play in the bottom side this time.
But just leveraging the strength of their bot lane plus jungler here to just be able to grab up this first Cloud Drake, as well as some prio from the mid lane for Potato. So far, the composition's turning out exactly how we thought, and Justin gets caught.
Justin gets caught. No flash on the Karma. This should just be a free kill over to dead body. Now Potato flashing forward, gets the stun down and the root onto Taylor Swift. That should just be a dead Caitlyn. A double kill to the Corki.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking pretty rough. The Renekton doesn't find a lead early on in this one. And on top of that, you're seeing a 3-0-2 Corki. Ice Toboggan Corki, to be specific.
We don't have to specify.
6 minutes, 50 seconds into this game. So, I mean, honestly, this is kind of the save mental type game for me. If you are Conduit, you just kind of send it next. But, don't want to count them out too early. You do have the scaling.
Me they're already thinking about game 4 draft.
I would. unless the solo kill comes in right now. All right, Joss, show it to me.
Joss looking for the damage, but Rainy's just kind of tanky. Gets the knockup as well. Call the Forge God was available, but not enough of a mana pool to get combo after that. So just walking it back after that, and I think that's just the right call. You just say, hey, you burned your Dominus. You didn't kill me. You don't win anything there.
Yeah, this is I mean, it's just looking so rough. I'm thinking about next game. I know they have Gwen Vagar, like really good scaling duo. However, there is nothing to help them out with this one except for a simple Karma Shield to speed up the Gwen to be able to do one more snip potentially.
Hey, not to speed up the Gwen, to speed up the Gwungle.
Oh god. It is what it is. March.
Taylor Swift eating a little bit of damage as Rainy gets a chunk of damage out of the Caitlyn. I think Rainy's just kind of tanky enough at this point that they can just sit under turret and farm, and the auto attacks from Caitlyn, even with that BF sword in inventory, really are not going to do that much. And this is kind of, I think, where the nerfs hurt the most in terms of that headshot damage especially. It just means that you don't shred through the health bar of either the turret or the Ornn as quickly. As you can see, the damage is there. They get him down to half HP, but he's got potions in inventory. Rainy's feeling fine.
It's a refillable. Could always just buy that Ruby Crystal for some extra HP as well, if necessary. Already on their way to their first item here. Gwen is on this bot side, getting chased out by Potato, who is 2 levels up on this jungler, and just going for a flank.
I don't know how I feel about this, because Rigor Mortis is going to be forced to flash away first to Sourcewalker. Has the needlework on. Heartbreaker used defensively, but in the meantime, Potato's on the back line, looking for some potential damage on to Taylor Swift, but Rainy goes down first. Call the Forge God used, but didn't find any value. Now they're asked to Conduit Coke can try and chase down. The root's going to land. Another root comes through, and that's a double kill to the Gwungle. Sourcewalker's online.
A little bit uncoordinated there. Probably didn't see Rigor Mortis actually commit the ultimate to be able to survive on that initial play. So Potato goes in, and it's just an ill-advised measure. So they find some life in this game. They're not completely out of it just yet. 400 gold, just the difference now. But the Corki is still quite powerful, but still is down in CS to this Caitlyn. So I don't know. I think there is a window. But they got to play perfect from here. No more rogue deaths at all, and they're just going to have to snowball cleanly. But that's kind of the idea of the composition, I think. You just try and snowball, but they've chosen a hard path to do so.
Yeah, again, if they had an engaged support or a tank top lane or just something that could be a quick go button, I would have a lot more confidence in this composition. But you're looking at Karma Mantra Shield and sprint at them and hope that Vigar Cage lands. As Sourcewalker is going to force Rigor Mortis out here. Grubs did go over to L9, but not the Rift Scuttle. So who really won that trade at the end of the day?
Yeah, Utah's is completed for the Caitlyn. So that's a pretty good item completion just 10 minutes into this game. So very much so accelerated with the extra 3 plates on the bot side, plus the other couple in the top side as well. So finding a good bit of gold here. Now deadbotting Looking for some damage onto Jost. Renekton can't really sustain out on these
Yeah.
2v1s. It's kind of why Renekton kind of fell off as a pick in general, is lane swapping like this. Not really a survivable champion in that scenario, as we see exactly why Lissandra, oh, never mind, finds a huge Q there to be able to
Yeah.
sustain up, so.
You won't be able to take as much consistent poke and consistent damage, but if you get a Minion Wave, that Call of the Meek will do plenty of work for you. Nice little recall cancel there from Deadbot and gets that rocket in there. Just takes a bite out of the Just, buddy, just walk a little further back before you recall, please.
No, he's gonna cancel it one more time? No. Oh, maybe. Oh, no, thought about it for
No,
sure.
not this time. Not this time. The late assignments are going to get shuffled up again. Bot laner's back in bottom lane. Sourcewalker dashing over the wall is going to look for a play onto Living Phoenix here. Teleport's coming through from Rainy. Potato, in the meantime, keeping Midnight in track. Rigor Mortis will find that kill. And now with the body of the Gwungle, will take full advantage of that extra monster damage and start taking the dragon.
Yeah, just didn't respect the counter engage there from Living Phoenix and just gets taken down. Yeah, that's more momentum over towards the side of Legacy 9. Now Justin walking up. I've seen this before.
Justin, you can't walk up to that one. Taylor Swift is the target. A nice knock up the Call of the Forge God, predicting the flash. Down goes the Caitlyn. Living Phoenix takes credit for the kill again.
This Nautilus is unmatched. You know, it is what it is. Highest damage Nautilus you've ever seen in the West, for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely not just last hitting hits. You're so right. As Jost in trouble up here on the top side. Potato Senpai forcing the flash trade. Dominus already uses. We'll get a replay of what exactly happened on that bottom side.
Sourcewalker says, I want this fight, but the fight he had is not exactly optimal. Just gets immediately taken down before anything could really happen. Even forcing the TP from the Ornn, but just ends up being a different lane assignment instead. Potato able to catch up this top lane.
But still have plates. God, this early game feels like it's been going on forever.
Yeah, it's just been turning up like L9's way though. You know, what is that? 9 plates across the map over to the side of L9. That is so much extra gold for them to be taking.
I think it's more than 9 because it's 4 in the bottom side, 2 in mid, and now 5 in top as Potato finishes off that last one. Jost using that Colmeek just heal up a little bit more.
Yeah, caster math. A little bit of caster math, nothing too crazy, but finds the turret, so puts themselves on the board for the feats of warfare, and they're already well along in their journey.
Phoenix picked up on the bottom side, trying to defend against the dive, but no good this time around. Deadbotting has to be careful because Midnight has the baby cage. Nice little sidesteps there, gets away from most of the damage. Midnight with the first strike, getting a little bit of extra gold out of it, but they just want this bottom side turret. Top side turret already went down. Feats already went over to L9, but they want to get at least something back.
Yeah, Taylor Swift is pretty low here to be actually contesting in this bot side. Deadbotting. Trying to force out something, Potato.
Yeah, Midnight taking a little bit of damage here. Potato doesn't have the most damage and walks into the cage as it's disappearing with Sourcewalker in the area. Forced to use the Frozen Tomb on themselves. The Primordial Burst already used. Midnight should just need one more cube. Finishes it off beautifully. Deadbotting in the meantime on the bottom side, looking to pick up Justin. Rigor Mortis gets the body, gets the reset, and Deadbotting has plenty of damage. One more rocket down, but now Joss teleports in, and Deadbotting I think should just be the sacrificial lamb here. One dead Corki. Rigor Mortis thinking about helping him, but no, your Corki's dead. Just get the heck out of Dodge.
Yeah, shutdown going the way of Joss though, so getting the Croc a little bit more fed, has that Eclipse already, so at least should be doing some decent damage over onto the Corki if he's ever able to get onto him. But it is still something to play around. As far as gold leads are going, still a pretty sizable lead here for Deadbotting, despite how many plates it feels like Swift has been able to actually grab up here. But
That's the S lead too, yeah.
It's just kind of, that's the difference. 5 kills to 1. That is how that ends up going here.
The math does in fact math.
Yeah, Sourcewalker also at least finding good pacing as far as item completions, but XP is a little bit concerning, sitting at level 10 to the level 11 of Rigor Mortis. So, I don't know. I think if Conduit wants to stand a chance here, they definitely need to grab this Otacon when it does spawn up in just 5 minutes. Just to be able to give them the extra stats to be able to burst someone down consistently.
Yeah, at the very least, keeping the Otacon away from L9 is going to be important for them. As Rainy's forced on the run, I think Taylor is hurting the Ornn. I think at the very least. I noticed that health bar may be moving. I couldn't tell.
You know, it gets one refillable pot charge off, most likely, so that's something at least. They are doing considerable damage, you know. Now with the headshot, this is actually looking pretty good.
Rainy stepped up too far forward. Ace in the
Oh.
hole doesn't finish him off. Rainy popped his potions and will survive the play.
Yeah, and in the meantime, they're looking for the Rift Herald Shelly with big red nose. Trying to find something here. The TP is going to be committed. Living Phoenix going in a little early.
Throws the hook. Baby Cage is there. Rigor Mortis can't follow up, but this Nautilus is fairly tanky. Manages to survive the upfront burst. Call of Forge God doesn't find a lot of value. That Howlin' Mist. Gwen is in fact immune. Rainy doesn't get the knockup either, but it doesn't even matter. Potato Senpai comes in with the Frozen Tomb and says Gwen is going to die. No more Gwungle for Cope. Now it's the Gwungle for L9. They're looking to continue the chase and move farther forward. Rainy on the run now for Midnight. They found Taylor Swift on the other side of the fight. Rainy doesn't have flashes, just looking to survive inside the pit here. Shelly hoping to help out, trying to defend her friend, the Choo Choo Train Orn, and manages to walk out just okay. They don't have the damage to follow up. And this Shelly maybe goes over. I don't think L9 are actually staying to take it, though.
Yeah, it's just a little bit too risky now that the TP did
Oh.
have to come through for Potato, as Orn
thought Shelly was about to
choo-choos out of his there.
I thought she was about to smack Orn out of that recall, and I was going to be so sad for him.
Yeah, Rainy going out so good. I mean, there is at least a dragon up, and it looks like there is priority here for L9 to kind of translate that advantage that they garnered in that top side fight into that objective as well. Since Potato was already on this bot side, there aren't really any big item power spikes for Conduit right now to be able to leverage. So kind of an even state, and that's bad for Conduit.
Beats the hook from Living Phoenix, but not looking for any further follow-up. Potato, though, on the flank. Mikhail's in, keeping Jost alive. Dominus is popped, but this Renekton just is not tanky. The Croc gets turned into a handbag, and the rest of Cope will fall around him. Midnight and Sourcewalker forced on the run, as now Rigor Mortis can instantly turn onto the dragon.
Yeah, free dragon here now after that initial engage. But this is kind of what we were talking about in the draft. It's just not easy for them to establish a good fight line if they're not just enormously ahead. And there were no easy angles for that. You didn't have stuff like a Nidalee to combo with this Renekton. And as such, Rainy off the ground now, and Renekton getting popped like it's nothing in the start of that fight. I mean, that's just trends to be seen, and it's probably going to keep up for the most part unless they can find a huge opening onto either one of these main carries here of the Viego or the Corki.
Yeah, this is not a dangerous, threatening crocodile from the Nile. This is a Macy's Day balloon. You take a pin to him and he pops.
Yeah, it's soon to be Gator Nuggets for sure.
Is that a real thing? Do people make Gator Nuggets?
Yeah, it is. It is a real thing. Go to Florida. I mean I don't wish
look,
that upon anyone.
If it was anywhere, it was gonna be Florida.
Yeah, that is definitely a thing. So definitely gonna see if Joss can get away the frying allegations here.
Weirdly enough, I've heard of fried alligator on a stick. I have not heard of Gator Nuggets.
I mean, you might as well. It's like chicken, right? That's how they go.
Yeah, apparently it tastes like chicken. Yeah.
But you know, Conduit's still got a game to be played. They are 5K gold down, 4 objectives, and
they don't. The problem is this composition just doesn't have really good comeback mechanic. You're preying on L9 to make a mistake, and you have
big mistake.
Yeah, and I think you have to come out of this game thinking, what were we doing in the draft, and what are we trying to accomplish in Game 4? As there's another pick, Sourcewalker, Hallowed Mist not even able to be popped, and Rigor Mortis will take another. Well, Living Phoenix will take the kill, actually. Rigor Mortis not allowed to have that one, as Joss now potentially the target. Gets the stun down into Rigor Mortis. The Wungle taking up a lot of turret damage there. Viego flashes out, but manages to get back in as Dead Body takes the last hit. Baby Cage lands. Rigor Mortis taking up a little bit of damage. Potato eats a large tower shot, but the team is there for the defense. It's just pick after pick, because L9 kind of just runs the map at this point. Flash forward from Taylor Swift, looking for the damage, but Dead Body just has Valkyrie. They're just out.
They are starting up the Otacon here, which is, I think, a little bit brave. But they want to look for it since they do have the TP on Potato.
Rainy has
sitting
TP.
in this
Potato
bush, though.
almost has TP, but is looking for a flank instead. reveals themselves. Call the Forge God now in from Rain. He gets the stun down onto one. The knockup's in, but Rigor Mortis died to Otacon. No one else was tanking it for him. Santa says, ho, 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 you get some coal in your stocking. And now the shutdown gets to come through. Cope finds it on into Deadbotting. Potato will fall as well. Phoenix will find another kill. A double kill for the Nautilus. This is not where they want to go. L9 overextends. It's an ace for Cope, and it's going to give them Otacon somehow on a silver platter.
You know, I was talking about how important Otacon is. Well, now we're going to have to see if it actually comes true. The throw at Otacon, the mythical, the legendary, the very, very infamous has arrived. Unfortunately, they're still 7k gold down.
How? They left Rigor Mortis to die on the buff. They left him to die.
Well, you know, it is what it is. Otacon, fake buff anyways, right? That is how that goes.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I mean, they have a chance now. 4k gold down, but if they can deny this next dragon, they could potentially stall out the game enough for Sourcewalker. You know, we talk it winnable. It's winnable to some degree.
Your Vigar is 3-0. He has Robo completed and Death Cap with 200 passive stacks. He's sitting on 600 AP at 20 minutes. If L9 continues to kind of mess around in this game, they can very easily lose it.
I will say still, the Renekton is useless.
Yeah, he's a stun bot at this point, but when you have a Vigar who's this, like, accelerated in his itemizing, do you care?
I will say I thought about something while I was mindlessly thinking. Hold that thought. Living Phoenix looking for it.
Wants the engage. Hook lands onto the wall. Not exactly the target they want. Potato now the one in trouble. Has to use that Frozen Tomb onto themselves. Call the Forge God. Doesn't find a ton of value. The knock goes onto 2. Swordswalker with that Hallowed Mist. Jost eating a lot of damage on the front line, but surviving. Living Phoenix doesn't find the hook. And Cope successfully navigate the fight and don't lose anyone.
Yeah, barely. The hook going wide was pretty big there. Midnight looking for maybe potentially some sort of engage here, but just a little bit too hard to find. As I was saying, though, I was thinking, man, if they just picked Olaf instead of Renekton, oh, it's so different. But we'll see. You know, maybe they need the stun. They find Midnight, though.
Caught out. The shields from the heals from Karma. The Mikhails is there, but Rainy flashes forward, collapse him down. Living Phoenix looks for a hook in, but maybe a little bit overzealous. Is going to get caught up there. Sourcewalker finds the kill. The Gwungle starting to get activated. Immediately, Joss will fall. Now Rigor Mortis getting onto that backline, looking for some extra damage, but down goes Potato. It's immediate trade for trade. Rigor Mortis picks up the body of the Gwungle, and now Taylor Swift is forced on the run. The burst comes through. A triple kill for the Corki. Dive bombing on Cope.
Yeah, dead botting. Doesn't really have to worry about too much when you're Lissandra's taking a lot of the burst that is coming through. So just has the free time to just free fire. Because now Shelly is deployed in the mid lane. So this will actually be a mid lane turret going down. I don't expect the inhibitor to go down as well.
Yeah,
so...
with the grubs, this one goes. Wow, that is taken so quickly. Does Shelly get rid of Does Shelly get rid of the debuff?
The backdoor protection, yeah, it does.
I thought that was still active with her around. Wow. The more you know. Today I learned.
Yeah. I mean, still keeping the inhib up at like 1 HP is pretty much optimal there, so you don't actually give them any extra gold for the Veigar to potentially stack off, so I don't know. This is looking scary, but it's been looking scary the whole game, and then an Otacon throw came through. And anything's possible now. Elder Drake in 5 minutes. If they could secure that,
yeah,
who freaking knows?
I mean, they did have to give over Soul to L9. It's another Mountain Soul for an Ornn, for a Nautilus. Even for the Lissandra, the extra tank stats are really valuable for her. Even for Viego to a certain extent when he picks up these... well, I was going to say tankier bodies, but no, none of them are tanky, actually. The first Ornn upgrades are going to start to come through for the team. We get the Kraken Slayer upgrade. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was called. It was...
I thought they removed all the renames. It's just
they did, but I like remembering them because the names are really cool, and I'm sad that I'm starting to forget them now. Other information has started to push them out of my brain.
It's just reforged, everything reforged.
It's masterwork, actually.
Masterwork.
It's Kraken Slayer parentheses masterwork, because you can upgrade every item.
So cool.
Yeah, because it was fun and unique that you had to think about your item build differently when Ornn was on your team, but nobody liked that. Nobody liked having to be a little bit different in your build path or thinking about which item would be best for you. Rigor Mortis looking for potential engage. Has to flash out, though. Jost immediately pops the Dominus, looking for a potential engage. Potato Monster, though, into the back line. Gets the self-ultimate, and now the rest of Cope will fall. Living Phoenix finds another kill. The 6-kill Nautilus, a threat to Cope's back line. Taylor Swift with a death charge will not give the kill over to Living Phoenix. Dead botting steals it from his support. How dare he? A double kill to the Corki. 2 more kills that could have been in Nautilus's pocket. As L9 are going to turn to the Baron.
Yeah, as the true carry. This is Living Phoenix deserves those. 6-4 and 12.
He has more kills than Rigor Mortis. That's insane to think about. He has more kills than his. He has more kills than his mid jungle duo.
I mean, he's also 2,500 gold above the Karma,
Yeah.
which is an absurd number, to be clear.
He's got our Randuins.
This is a 3-item support, you know.
That's 3 real items, not even counting his support item. He's got 9,000 gold.
Yeah, this is a rich.
26 minutes.
This is a rich money move here from the Nautilus.
This is the richest support of all time.
And it's gonna pay off. I can't foresee a way where Conduit wins this from this position. They needed to find an early advantage.
Are you gonna say the word?
It's unwinnable.
Unwinnable. There it is. All right, so Conduit Copers are going to take in game 3, set themselves up for match point going into game 4. Good to know. Thank you for letting me know.
Yeah, it's unwinnable. The Ornn upgrades are coming through. There's just no way it's ever going to come through for Conduit here. So L9 should be able to just take this one. There is an interesting angle here for Jost. There is everyone in the area. You got to click R quickly.
Yeah, Potato does have the Frozen Path and the Frozen Tomb. They're going to get on top of the Lissandra, but with the Mountain Soul, she's just beefy enough to survive the burst. A nice hook from Living Phoenix will keep him off the Lissandra as well. Shattered Arm Guard used just to make sure that the Ace in the Hole doesn't find its way through the bodies, but it does not matter. Jost has already fallen. This turret will be the next to go. Rainy, I think, is getting healed by Taylor Swift at this point. The 3-item Caitlyn just is not able to do enough.
Yeah, I mean, you got your item break points, but at what cost? Your entire base about to go down. Viego pushing out the mid lane, so has a nice squeeze that you could go for, and they just go for it. Rainy.
Looking for an Akka, but I think just a bit of an overextension. Primordial Burst comes through. A nice hook. The Gwungle is the target, but the Mikhails keeps her alive. The Mortis can't fight the damage. 1,000 gold. Source Walker picks up the benefit of that kill. And the inhibitor mid lane went down, their inhibitor turret fell, and it's definitely still bad for Cope, but hey, they're getting something.
Yeah, they got some gold in their pocket. The gold lead shrunk from 10k to 9k. Shout out to Conduit here. So, I mean, they're going to have the extra gold from the super minions. It is something to play around, but they do have Elder Drake to deal with in 1 minute and 30 seconds, and that's really all that matters, I think. So, can they find some sort of angle to be able to find that buff? I don't know. Or deny it at the very least, find some kills, maybe stall it out for one more rep.
I mean, if they don't contest it, the game's just over, right? Like, Elder Dragon should just end the game.
Elder Dragon Corki with a Viego? Yeah, I mean, that
the game should be over at that point. So if Conduit can't contest, they don't have the resources and the tools to turtle in their base to try and stall out the game. They have to fight, and unfortunately, they have to fight on Legacy's terms.
Yeah, they're choked out of the jungle already. Do they have to just give Elder? I mean,
if you give Elder, I think the game ends.
Yeah, Corki with max rockets, not gonna exactly be the easiest thing to deal with.
Viego getting resets because everybody's health is 25% lower.
Yep, pretty much. Either way, they are gonna at least contest the mid wave here since they can't go through the jungle. Lissandra looking for a flank angle now, but they're showing the respect. They know Potato is here.
Still going to look for it anyway. Gets immediately stunned up. Has to use that Frozen Tomb themselves, but Taylor Swift ran the wrong direction. Dad Botting finds 1, finds 2. The Corki already pop it off. They're looking for a little bit more. Potato will deny any chance of a Penta, but it should just be game over. Elder Dragon not even needed for L9, as I think the game ended there. Because of our pause, we're not going to be able to see the actual end screen.
Yeah, we're frozen in time here, but it's pretty chill. I think guaranteed definite win here for the side of L9.
I don't think they lose it here. Yeah, okay. L9 does end up winning that game. They set themselves to match point. We don't get to see the actual victory screen or any of the stat padding, but you can imagine the victory screen.
Source
Sourcewalker
Walker came back.
unfortunately not able to come back and to win that one for the team. And honestly, I think we saw a lot of this coming in the drafts. It
Oh
was
no, for
just
sure. What a
it was
questionable
just
draft for sure.
yeah, questionable. I think I would use a lot stronger words than questionable, but we
I
can go with
mean, we're
questionable.
we're we're PG broadcast here, so PG-13 maybe for sure, but PG nonetheless. So we'll save it at questionable. The Renekton, I think especially, I'm like,
Yeah, last pick for Renekton when Ornn and other tanks, even like something like Malphite, I think just negates the Renekton so much in
Oh
a
yeah,
game
for
like
sure.
this.
But I think you just send Olaf if you're gonna just say, okay, we got a bruiser. Oh, we got Karma, so let's pick a bruiser. Okay, just pick Olaf when you see Lissandra, Nautilus, and potentially a tank in the top lane. Yeah, you're gonna have to maybe deal with an annoying ranged champion in the top lane, but then there's no tank on the side of
Yeah.
L9 at that point.
Outside of the Nautilus, who, if he doesn't get 6 kills and 3,000 gold over his lane opponent, isn't as tanky as he was in that game. I just think the draft didn't give them a lot of options to actually play out the style of composition they wanted. There has to be some concessions made in the draft. This is a draft that I would see in solo queue and be like, dang, I can't imagine why we lost. That's crazy. That sucks. oh well, better luck next time, I guess.
All right, I'm gonna check one thing before we go to break. I want to see what inspired the Veigar here. If Lissandra has a losing matchup into Veigar, I'd be shocked. So let me check this
I'd
real
be
quick.
very surprised as well, but I'm thinking more about what they do in game 4 because very obviously Conduit likes to play a much more aggressive style. They like to play in the face of their opponents. They like to play aggressive. But you have to, again, make some concessions in your draft. You don't get to play the solo queue composition. You have to have a tank. You have to have some engage. You have to have a go button somewhere in your draft.
Yeah, it is a 50-50 matchup, so nothing too crazy. Mainly
Okay.
just looking elsewhere, but that still feels a little bit rough here for the 27k damage to Lissandra, and what they have to do in draft is not troll. That's it. All right, I think that's
Yeah.
my point.
Yeah, I think we are going to be heading to a break, and during that break, the stream is going to go down. We're going to be swapping over producers just so our producer Golden can get to bed at a reasonable hour. They have to be awake tomorrow. We appreciate you all for your patience while we've been dealing with our little bit of stuff. The stream will be back up as soon as possible, and we'll be jumping into draft for game number 4, potentially our last game of the night, not as soon as we get back, but as soon as we can once we get back. We'll see you all there.